What's up, everybody? This is Yannis. Welcome to this fun episode with Josh Peck, actor, comedian, YouTuber, influencer, podcaster, father, and Jew. It was a good time, and former fat kid. That's also, he's an inspiration to everyone, but also we do find out, is him getting skinny discrimination against big people, okay? It's violence towards big people to get skinny. So I don't know how we feel about that. If you want to know how he feels about that, watch the episode. I'm also in Cleveland right now, May 5th through 7th. As you're watching this, I'm in Cleveland. If you're there and you haven't gotten tickets already, get them. Newport, Rhode Island, Roebling, New Jersey, etc. YannisPappasComedy.com, and get your bonus episode at Patreon.com/Yanni Longdays. Now enjoy this episode with Joshua Peck.
Yannis Pappas. Yeah. When you all tucked up in the day long, and the news online going on and on, what's right and wrong, and it's something up. Now here comes a great kid you know you can trust. From the true who's who to the news and cameras, to the fake politics and the propaganda. Yeah, this kid's screwed in, got a lot to say. Oh shit, it's about to be a long day. It's a long day. It's a long day.
We got Josh Peck in a place that if he had made a different decision in his life, this could possibly be the neighborhood that he lives in. If things went different, like if you, let's say, you know, let's say you were like, they weren't looking for a funny, chubby kid at that time.
Let's say I was overweight, but not funny.
Yeah, but not funny. Right. You were overweight, and yeah, you just didn't have any talent. Bay Ridge is where you could have ended up. I could be at your junior one bedroom doing this right now in like a parallel world. I could be coming over as like a D-list comedian, and you're a guy who's like an accountant named Josh Peck, who's about 400 pounds, who's like dabbling into podcasts.
Yeah. I'm like, I have a podcast. It's not looking good for my left foot.
Yes,
you know.
Josh Peck, everybody. Of course, that was what you call an untraditional, unorthodox start. But when you get Josh Peck to Bay Ridge, there's only one thing left to do after this, and that's get John Stamos to Bay Ridge.
Can you believe it? It's gonna happen.
It's gotta happen.
Yeah, with me qualifying it now that I've been here, I've like scoped it out for him. I'm like Stamos' Secret Service.
Yes.
So I've been here, I've seen it, it's safe, it's nice.
You're breaking this in right now. Like people, because you're here, I may be able to get someone else now. Because if I just showed them Ari Shafir,
sure,
they'd be like, oh, wait, is that the guy who was happy Kobe was dead? And I'm like, yeah, but you know, he went to therapy. And
yeah, he's got an Edinburgh special coming out that's club funny.
Yeah, he's been on Legion of Skanks a few times. Yeah. He's not as bad as you think. So yeah, thanks for blessing this. When's the last time you were in this shitty of an apartment?
Oh, constantly. I'm in recovery. So, you know, I'm constantly in beautiful abodes like this.
Recovery from a long time. 2008 is when you stopped. Or at least that's when your publicist told them to say it.
Yeah, 14 years.
Yeah. But yeah, is that the Hollywood story? Or is that the real story?
This is real, but this is where, look, I walked into the lobby of this building and it looks like, you know, Noah Baumbach's nightmares.
Yes.
You know, like,
yes.
It's funny you're wearing that shirt because I'm like, looks like where Basquiat grew up.
Yeah.
It's just so New York.
It's very New York.
Yeah. And I have friends who moved from LA to New York. And like they're living in Dumbo. They're having like a different New York existence.
Yes.
I'm like, your building has a pool in it. You don't know my life.
Yes, no.
You don't get it.
That's not New York. That new New York could be in any city. You see that, you could go to like whatever city, and that it's like that income bracket kind of follows itself around. It's like when you go to Mexico and you're rich, you're not in Mexico.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you go any country, you're like, I want to have a native experience, but then you go stay in like a 5-star, you're like, that's just the rich place. It's not here. Bay Ridge is still kind of, it feels like when I moved here, it feels like the New York I grew up in, which was like in the 80s where it was like, there's a pizza place, people still wax their eyebrows and they're not girls. You can still get an Italian ice. I don't think they know what inflation is. It's just, are you paying cash? Well, a slice is $1.50.
Right.
You know, you want, so, you know, if you ask for a slice with cheese in Bay Ridge, they're going, what? It fucking comes with cheese.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
This is presumed.
Yeah, what do you mean with cheese? It's the only way it fucking comes. It's like asking for a pizza. You want to fucking, it's redundant.
Speaking of eyebrow waxing, you're a Greek man.
I do it. Yeah, you
Do
can
you
tell.
do it?
Freshly just done too.
They're very well kept.
Thank you. I have to do it.
And you do the wax.
I
That's
do
your
the
way.
thread. I do the thread. Yeah, I do the thread.
I love it.
Yeah, there is an Indian woman I come face to face with every couple weeks.
I get mine from an Israeli woman.
Do you thread yours?
I'll do a little threading. I've
Yeah.
done waxing, but my wife put a stop to it.
No
She's
more.
like,
What kind of waxing were you do? Butthole? What were we talking?
No, just
just the eyebrows. Yeah, okay. I don't know.
She was like,
Do you think
too
John Stamos
theatrical.
waxes his asshole?
Stamos?
It's got to be a yes, dog.
He's surprisingly not super hairy. You've seen him.
Yeah,
You've been around him.
Yeah,
It's weird.
he's like almost suspiciously not Greek-ish.
Yeah.
The eyebrows are a little Greekish, but yeah, he's not as hairy as Greeks usually are. Like I have to like trim down.
Wow.
Yeah, like you see what I do, and
That's beautiful.
I'm not that hairy, but the problem is I'm like sweaty, so I get a rash.
Really?
So I guess trim it down, and then I put a nice coat of antifungal on. And then I'm ready for the summer.
Love it. A nice ringworm cream.
Now, everyone
Can I
knows.
stop you?
Yeah.
Holding the mic there, I'm getting a lot of noise.
Okay, I'm doing that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I was just holding the mic like I have to hold the mic. Either way I hold the mic is like a first-year stand-up comic. They used to hold it like here and it would break in the middle of their set while they were bombing. It would make it worse. Or they just don't know how to hold it and they go like this. What's up, everybody? Either way, I'm nervous.
When Chappelle says he's going to do a new special,
Yeah.
does the microphone company go?
The trans community gets prepared. When Dave Chappelle says I got something to say, trans people go, get ready. They're like, yeah, they just treat it like Ukraine. I think we got some intel and another attack's coming.
Right. But like, does the microphone company say they go, it's going to be a good year?
Yeah.
This guy drops more mics than anyone I've ever
He
seen.
does drop them. Well, Chris Rock used to drop them at the end of his special. He used to always drop them.
But that's one.
That's one. Yeah.
Chappelle's, 30.
Yeah.
That knee slap all the time.
Yeah, he always hits the knee. Yeah, and Jared, if you continue to do that, I'm gonna fucking throw you into the fire.
In your pool.
Yeah, he does one joke, Jared Harvin, where he just hits his leg, and I'm like, okay, now that we've got you on the road a little bit, we're gonna remove that Chappelle influence. Because I'm like, I just saw you in the early show, and you were banging your leg, and you know the joke, so it's not that funny. So that would be like if we were sitting here and you said something. Yeah, he made that a thing. He made that the leg bang thing.
When was the first time, like, when you realized I'm really good at this?
I haven't yet. When did you know? Like you're so everyone knows you. Most people know you. They're watching this, right? They may know you from different parts of your life. I know that I get it, dude. Like I've had things on a smaller scale. It must be weird when people are just always going Josh and Drake, right? You don't like that shit. Do you like it still?
I've come full circle about it. There was certainly a period of my life where I was like, enough.
Yeah.
Let me get away.
Yeah.
But it's also because my awkward teenage years are in reruns.
Right.
Where most people can burn their yearbooks and swear their family to secrecy. I'm
Right.
like, it's in reruns and we don't make residuals.
Right.
So you can imagine. I'm like, there I am, fat again.
But you know what's cool is you went from like the fat funny kid to like the hot guy. Not a lot of people make that transition. Who else? I mean, you may corner the market on that. I'm trying to think who else.
I'm trying to think
And
who
what
else.
other fat kid do you know from when a kid? Maybe Jerry O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell. He's on the top.
Jerry O'Connell, yeah. Jerry O'Connell and Josh Peck, maybe the only two fat kids where you look at them. And now I go back and I look at Young and I go, there was a fucking hot guy in there.
You and my mother knew.
Yeah,
my mother used to say, God bless my Jewish mother was like, you were always handsome to me. I'm like, just you, Ma. It wasn't looking good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the great part about having a Jewish mom is that they love you so much. They only see the pot. They love you no matter what. what, right? It was like she was probably telling you should model back then.
Yeah, definitely. And listen, she was, she was going to give her 401k compliments too.
Yeah,
She knew she was in it for the long game. She's like, I better support this kid so he supports me.
Yeah. So you grew up in Hell's Kitchen.
I grew up in.
You're a New Yorker.
I'm a New Yorker. I was born in. I was born in Murray Hill, and I lived there as a young kid. Went to PS40 on 20th Street.
Wow, public school kid.
PS40.
Yeah.
And then and then around 7 or 8, I moved to Hell's Kitchen. I was there till I was 14 and moved to LA.
Now, when you moved to Hell's Kitchen, 7, 8 years old, you didn't get a place. You didn't when you say I moved there, it wasn't like a 7-year-old.
I emancipated myself.
Yeah, you didn't walk in with a real estate agent at 7 and go, I'll take it. It was your mom and you.
Yeah. It was my mom. I never met my dad.
Yeah.
Only child, single mom. And it was just some real New York shit.
You still don't know your dad?
No, and he died, so he wins.
Oh, so he died.
Yeah.
So you knew who he was.
I knew who he was. My mom and he, they were like business acquaintances, would see each other every couple years. And he had a well-timed separation of 6 hours, just long enough to knock up my mother.
Wow, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask some questions?
Please, dig in.
Yeah. So what's going on here? They were business associates.
They were like,
They were never married. Never a relationship?
Never a relationship. Ready?
You're a booty call kid?
You ready for more?
Yeah.
He was 62. She was 42.
Wow.
They hooked up once. You're looking at a miracle.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be here, man.
Maybe.
No,
Probably.
for sure. For sure. That's written in the stars. Story like that is written in the stars. When we had kids, was yours planned, your kids?
Yeah.
That's a different thing. There's no magic in that.
No.
There's no magic in that when you sit around and your wife's got a thermometer in her mouth and she's going, fuck me now. And you're going like, all right, let's make a baby, fun sex. And all she's thinking about is, and she does that little rollback. The rollback they do afterwards? It's almost like they're like a pinball machine trying to help the sperm in there. You're just standing up like, you feel like you're used a little bit. It doesn't even feel fun. It just feels like you're being used for your sperm. And then they're like, okay. And then they just lean back and they just hope they're pregnant. There's no magic in that.
Right.
There's no fun in that. Your mom got fucked. Like we made kids. We reproduced.
Totally.
We reproduced.
We made a plan.
When our babies were born, our wives were not fucked.
Yes.
We serviced them with sperm.
Exactly.
Because we were already in a relationship. Yeah, you were born in passion. Yes. Forbidden passion.
My father...
Was he Jewish, the dad?
Of course.
Okay, well, that part.
Face like this.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I did 23andMe. They wrote me back, what for?
You know what I like about Jewish women? Even when they have an affair, they make sure it's with a Jew.
Yes.
Yeah. She was like, look, we're not supposed to be doing this. You're 60, I'm 44. But I will do it. I have one question. Are you Jewish? Okay, let's proceed.
I feel bad because I'm literally your biggest fan, and so I feel like you're here interviewing someone listening to the podcast. Like people are laughing in the car, being like, "Can he have someone fucking funnier on the show?"
No, you're very funny. So this is, yeah. I mean, you're in a few different worlds.
Yeah,
You're in a few different worlds because you're an actor. But you've also gotten popular online doing you do funny skits. You hang out with David Dobrik. I always call him Daniel. It's David.
Be a different vibe.
Yeah, that would
David
be different.
Dobrik.
Daniel Dobrik would be Daniel Dobrik. That's a fucking cool name, Daniel Dobrik. David's a little more David. Daniel's got a little more something to it.
Yeah, selling subprime mortgages.
Yeah. Daniel. And if you say if you say someone's name Daniel, he's not that fun a guy.
Daniel.
If you refer to him as Daniel, if you call him Danny, kid does coke. Yeah, if you got a friend, his name is, or Danny Boy. Where's Danny Boy? He's got the coke. He sells the coke. Yeah. Right. But Daniel's not partying with you.
It's mostly laxative, but it's still coke. You're gonna shit, but it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. So your mom and dad, how did they meet?
They were like the kind of people that would see each other twice a year, and they would have maybe a lunch or something.
Wait a second. What do you mean they're the type of people who would see each other twice a year?
Like, do you have someone who you find charming or nice that you see every now and then, and you're like, we should hang out, or we should grab a bite more often, and you never do.
Right. Okay. So they were more acquaintances through business.
Yes.
Became friendly.
Yes.
Your mom, I'm trying to paint a picture here.
Please.
Your mom.
I'll give it to you all.
You need a water?
No, please.
Okay. So your mom's like found an older kind of, was he like a mentor figure?
That's exactly right.
Showing her the business of real estate.
She was a headhunter, so she would get people jobs and
Yes.
whatnot, and he worked in. I think I can't give too many
Here he
distinguishing
comes in-
factors because
Yeah.
I got siblings out there. I don't want to meet.
You got legal things. Yeah, you don't got to worry about it. Like, I don't have to. Yeah, you're just because you're in this apartment, you might slip. You may be like, oh, I forgot.
No,
I'm not
literally-
supposed to be here.
I feel like I'm in my boy Giannis's house.
You are.
Like, you want to play Nintendo 64 after this?
Yeah, we can.
And order a pie?
So let's paint the picture. Your mom, young, attractive Jewish woman. Okay, she's in the headhunting business. She's trying to make her way.
Yeah.
Right. How old is she at the time?
42.
42. So she hasn't been married.
Yes.
Her parents.
Her dad died when she was 16, and her mom remarried.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's got a nice framework.
She's got and they're calling her once in a while, going, "When are you gonna
Yeah,
meet a nice Jewish boy? When's this gonna happen? When's it gonna?" She's going, "I'm a New York girl. I'm, it's career. You don't get it. It's a different generation. We're not on the kibbutz anymore."
The kibbutz of West Orange, New Jersey.
This is a
We're not in
capitalist.
South Poland.
We're not in Poland, Ma. I got to make money. I got
yeah.
a good career, and I've met this nice man, and he's showing me the business, and he says I got a lot of promise.
That's right.
And let's picture him. I'm picturing
A Jewishy Richard Gere. What do we think?
Yeah. Well, for some reason, I see the shoes with the tassels. I think your dad had tassels.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm
Dentist
talking
shoes.
about? Those
Dentist shoes.
the tassels.
Oh, yeah.
What you know what I'm talking about?
Penny loafers?
They're the loafers with the little tassel.
Of course.
Yeah, he's got he also has a pair of penny loafers. He also has a pair of
A
those.
statement sock.
But when he was seeing his mom, the tassels came out.
Yeah.
Those are the fucking, he's trying to get laid. He said, put the tassels. I'm seeing slacks, maybe a little belt. Is it a little stomach over the belt? A little bit, like me. Just like, yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
The crease down
Yeah.
the pant, the
Yeah.
nice slack.
Do they go out for a Reuben?
Maybe.
Were you born after a good Reuben?
After they went to the Carnegie Deli.
They went to the Carnegie Deli.
They went to the Carnegie Deli in Midtown, RIP, no longer there.
Right.
But, the famous, sandwiches is big.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the only thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they hooked up. They hooked up finally.
So they hooked up finally, and I didn't know this so much later in life.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you guys hooked up and you went for deli and that was it. And then like somewhere in my teens, my mom goes, well, we hooked up again. I'm like, really? It's like you had bloated sex after the initial sandwich. Hi, Mom. Shout out, Mom. Oh, my God.
I don't think she'll find this pod. You're safe here? I think you're safe from all legal recourse here.
She might leave this off her website, which is her Facebook page. And she calls it, she goes, oh, I just updated your website. I said, what's my website? She goes, my Facebook page. And it's literally everything I've ever done in my life.
She keeps up with you.
Oh, yeah.
She proud of you?
Yeah, she's the best. I mean, we were like meant to be. I always say that when I was born, like I would look at traditional families with parents and kids, and I would say like, oh, like the kids are the employees and the parents are like upper management.
Right.
But my mom and I were like a startup.
Right. I mean, if you put that on stage, that's a funny bit. That is really funny. Like single mom and kid.
Yeah.
It's a startup. Yeah.
And I was just lucky to grow up in New York because even though it was an oddity, it wasn't that odd, right? Because I'm going to public school, so I'm not the only kid. Like I met plenty of kids growing up who were like, "Oh, you never met your dad?" Like I fucking wish I never met my dad. They were like me; they just didn't have one.
Right.
So having like a strong, domineering single mom was not new.
Right. I think even if as a Jewish family, no matter what, even if your dad's there, you're going to have a strong, domineering mom.
Yeah.
That's just part of the deal.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, it's a matriarchal system, the Jewish women just run the show. They're tough. I remember my mom's best friend, I won't say the name, I guess, for legal reasons. I got to pretend like people care. I got to pretend like I'm on his level. Yeah, I can't. I got to really be careful. There's a lot of people. I got to just make sure. Let me call my publicist first. Yeah. So my mom's best friend, they went to law school together. She was a Jew. Her husband was like one of the biggest criminal defense lawyers in New York. He was like one of the two. He was on TV all the time. And, he's a criminal defense. Like he's hanging out with like drug dealers and Like at his funeral when he died, I went to his funeral. I mean, dude, the criminals there was like out of a movie. I felt like I was in Bad Boys 3 or something. It was like dudes with ponytails, coke nail. I mean, it was like criminals. And they were giving speeches like, your father helped me, you know, so much. Like, he saved my life, stuff like that. So this is the guy. Very successful, power, loyal, criminal attorney. I mean, she would fucking speak to him. I mean, they would come over like for holiday parties. She would fucking talk to him. I was like 4 or 5, and I was like, I would get like, geez, and he would just kind of take it, dude. Like the fucking successful, powerful guy. And she would just take his balls and go, yeah, you know, let's go. And he would, all right, it's time to go, fucking, you know.
They run the house.
Run the show, dude.
Yeah, and I remember, growing up, like, it's funny, I have a buddy, my buddy Eric, who's a criminal defense attorney, and I would always say to him, like, how do you represent these people in good conscience and whatnot? He's like, listen, I'm not representing them, I'm representing the legal system. I'm like, okay, however you justify. He's like, look, you ever get in trouble, the only people you're calling are me and your mother. Right? He's like, you're gonna love me. And then one day he invited me down to Los Angeles District Court in downtown to watch a trial, and he's like, what'd you think? And I'm like, it's cool, it's like Law and Order with ugly people.
It's like the real thing. Yeah. You know, it's interesting when you think about that. Like, you try to think about like the job that they do. I do understand that they need criminals need representation. That's like the best system you could think of, right? But then the job they're doing is they're trying to represent a murderer. Right. Like, how do they do that job?
There are other places.
He is kind of right, is what I'm saying. Like, he is representing the legal system. And you're also kind of right. That is the way you got to rationalize it. So they're both kind of true.
He used to say, he's like, there are other places in the world where there's a 98% conviction rate. He's like, trust me, you don't want to live there.
Yeah. Hey, Your Honor. I know it looks bad. Okay, there's four girls were found in his refrigerator. You know, but here's he's insane. Can we do something with that? And that's their only hope, really, is to get in. Your only hope is to get in a loony bin if you're like really. I guess that's the only thing you can do if you're like, if the evidence is you did this. Right. I guess your friend just goes like, he's crazy, and they go, and you just hope that there's like very open minded. That's when you hope for the AOC ilk. You like that, you thinking, you go like, he's crazy, and like, let's talk about his family for a second. His mom wasn't there, and then someone goes, but hey, Josh Peck's dad wasn't there. Shut up. His dad wasn't there. He grew up in this, and then you hope for a judge to just go, absolutely, let's just put him in the loony bin.
I asked my buddy once that about the insanity sort of plea, and he's like, here's the problem, right? You try to say they're crazy, so they go, funny, we have a video of them driving to the scene in which they committed the crime. They seem to obey every street law.
Right.
Like, they seem to stop at red lights and like, maybe not too crazy.
Right. Temporary insanity. Then you get the temporary insanity one. I just went crazy from the moment. If you take this from the moment I killed to the moment afterwards, I blacked out.
Right.
I don't remember it. Everything else I remember, but I don't remember that. I love when they use that defense. I don't remember. Anytime anyone says they do not remember in a court of law, they're lying. That should be obvious.
Totally.
Yeah, Amber Heard beat Johnny Depp is what I'm trying to say.
Is there a thing, like, when you were being a knucklehead kid, is there a thing you did where you're like, wow.
When I was being.
Like, if that had gone
as
the
I
wrong
reach for
way.
a snooze.
Let me get one too, goddamn.
You want one?
What is it?
It's a snooze. I'll get you. I need another one.
No, I'm good. That terrifies me. I got 14 years. I can't be doing snooze.
You can't do nothing. Right?
It'll be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I drink coffee, so I guess I'm really playing with fire there.
Yeah. Coffee's the only thing you can. Oh, yeah. Dude, addicts love coffee and Red Bull. Can Red Bull just be honest and call it, hey, we're the drink for guys who used to do coke? Don't fucking keep flying in airplanes and shit. Nobody takes a Red Bull and then goes and skydives. They go to a bar with their friends who can still drink, and they order a Red Bull because they can't, because if they do, they'll do blow.
Right.
And that's it.
Well, I mean, you're a podcaster, so you've drank Liquid Death before.
Yeah, of course. I don't know how they wedge themselves in it. There's certain things that are like very on brand. The motif is podcast.
Right.
Liquid brand, Manscaped,
Casper,
and BetterHelp.
Feeling sleep. Hey, you guys like bird dogs?
Do you guys need some CBD, dick pills, a way to shave your dick, and a bed to sleep on with your shaved dick? Listen to my podcast. And then therapy after listening to the podcast.
But Liquid Death looks like a beer can, and this might be urban legend, but I heard the founder was tired of being out and a sober guy, and people always being like, why aren't you drinking? Let me get you a drink. So now you walk around with this, you look like you got a drink.
Yeah, this probably makes sense. That sounds like the reason, because I always, when I see it doesn't speak to me, because when I saw it, your first thinking is like, is this like one of those like, Red Bull kind of energy drinks, and it's just water. So it's got to... I wish we had Liquid Death as a sponsor right now.
They should be. What are they, nuts?
I'm going to contact them for retroactive payment. Be like, dude, Josh Peck talking about Liquid Death. I mean, send me at least a gram.
Look, they send me a couple of carbonated waters, and I give them thousands of dollars in free plugs. So Liquid Death. What do you, just put it together here.
Liquid Death. Liquid Death.
Guy.
Or freaking cold spring water. Whatever you want to drink.
Right.
So you get born, your dad disappears.
Right away.
You become an actor almost immediately after that.
Like at 9 years old, I started doing
Did he
stand-up.
come back in your life after you got the deal?
No, I mean, he had 3 kids and a wife, right? Like, so he was he was like getting Medicare and chicks pregnant.
Right.
Like, it was over. Like, I'm sure for him, he was like, oh, I'm supposed to have a victory march into convalescence with like a couple well done like affairs under my belt.
Yeah.
Not this.
Right.
And so he headed for the hills. I remember my mom even sent him a letter when I was 5.
Wait, so it was an affair. For him, it was an affair. He had a wife.
He was, I mean, he said he was separated, but we know how that goes.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so he was a smooth talking dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
did your mom know what she was getting into? Does she admit that part at least?
You know, in hindsight, as a fully grown human being, I think about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what the real. I know she says she always wanted a kid and assumed that it was never going to be in the cards. So I would imagine that during this romantic interlude, there was no thought of protection. Right. My mom was like, "Hey, let's see what happens here."
Do you think there's a possibility they were having sex, and he was he's a veteran at this.
Right, thoroughbred.
Yeah, I mean, I know he was probably telling your mom, "I never do this. This is,
Yeah, this is crazy.
As far as it's you. It's because of you."
I usually break out the tassels.
He had a pull-out move. He had a pull-out game, is what I'm saying. Do you think mom was ready? Do you think mom was ready for a kid, and he tried to do his move, and then
She locked him in.
This was 1986, though, too, right?
Yeah.
So the way I imagine it, and that's all I can do with my dad. Never met him. Is that he probably was like, she's 42.
Yeah.
I'm 62.
he thought the nut was safe.
Right? He's like,
Especially in 86. He's like, I thought, because back then, you were probably like, oh, she's 46. Back then, you just figure 46 there's no kids happening.
Right.
And Jesus, you're the new Jew. You're the Jewish Jesus. You're a miracle. Yeah, because he was Jewish. So yeah, he might have just let go in. I'm sorry, I'm saying this about Josh Peck.
You can. I think
because that's the way sex works. He might have just let the nut go.
I know. I mean, most of my friends are married, but I got single friends now who act with abandon in 2022. Right. So back then, I think people just didn't. I don't know if he was thinking that could ever happen.
Right. 46. Your mom was
42.
42, which is the same age my mom was when she was born. When I was born. Yeah. Also, when I didn't even know this, when you're trying to get pregnant, the women are only like fertile for like a day. Right. So many things had to line up for you to be here. It's kind of cool to think about. You know what I mean? Like your mom had to have become a headhunter. She had to like do a different thing than like what's expected of women of that time. You're supposed to be married. I mean, she was pretty independent.
Oh,
Yeah.
And then when she had me, like I think my grandmother.
Let me just say this. I love the fact that your mom fucked your dad a few more times afterwards.
She had to make sure. You know what I mean?
I love
She's
that.
like, let me laminate this.
It was the lamination fucks. Yeah. Make sure. Yeah,
but
that's
like,
a cool story.
My grandmother, I like straight up, I think said to her like, well, what are you going to do about this?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm going to have it.
Right.
Like, but it was just so foreign to her. This like, you know, my grandmother, this Jewish woman born in the 20s, and she'd be a single mom and have this kid.
Right.
In a wedlock.
It was a different time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like, that was considered anathema. If you don't know that word, you know what to do.
It's concomitant. I learned that from you. Concomitant is good.
Same time.
And if you're playing the Yannis Pappas drinking game, drink every time he says
something wrong.
War brings about strange bedfellows.
I'm really an insufferable fucking machine of dribble.
Best. You're the best.
Amenities of modernity, which is somewhere up here. Where's your book?
You
didn't bring me a fucking book.
Fuck.
Happy
people are annoying. I'll bring it.
I want to get rid of Batya Ungar Sargans, which I lied and told her I read. I didn't. No, I did not. Yeah. So
she was great on the pod.
She's great. She's great. She's very smart. She's great, and she's gotten hotter, which Jesse pointed out.
Fame will do that.
Which is funny because you've continued to follow her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she's looking good.
Really?
Yeah, I think she's kind of like, I'm on Tucker now. I got it.
Is she on Tucker?
She's done all of them. She's one of those. She's filled that market of former Democrats talking about the Democrats.
Sure, the Barry Weiss.
Yeah. There's a bunch. Everyone's kind of doing it. Everyone's going like, all right, it's time for a little. Everyone on the left is going like, let's tug a little bit. Let's get back to the. And there's a whole, but nowadays you always wonder, like, is that just your grift? Is that your lane? Because that's a new lane.
Right.
And everyone just looks for the lane.
I think if people don't have a grift, we don't know about them. We haven't heard of them.
It means they're no good. They're no good. A good grift you should find out about later.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And then
like Scott Joplin.
Yes.
Right.
And then people should be forgiven, because if someone gets away for a grift for a certain amount of time, you should be like, hats off.
Right.
It's like your life was a magic trick.
Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Good grift.
Good grift. Yeah. Good grift. So you become an actor right after that. You're a child actor.
Yeah,
in some ways.
8 years old, I was doing stand-up in New York. And
you did stand-up at 8?
Yeah.
So you went up there. What did you talk about? Were you like, hey, I don't know my dad. He's fucking my
basically.
Yeah.
I was fat. I had a joke because Entenmann's a very East Coast centric thing,
yeah.
but not everybody knows it. But it's like store pastries, right? It's like pre-made pastries. So I had some joke like, in school I major in entomology, the study of Entenmann's, and like I'm a fat fuck. And I basically just did impressions and made fun of kids at school, and I had a tight 5 minutes.
You had type 5, but you knew early you wanted to entertain.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So entertaining kids at school wasn't enough. You were ambitious. You wanted something bigger. You wanted something more. You felt that talent. Is it like innate, or is it because of the pain? Was it because
pain.
It's pain. Painting over the pain. Anyone who gets into entertainment, it's basically we're painting over the pain.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone who gets into entertainment is whole. Because you're essentially asking strangers to like you, which any normal person would go, why the fuck would I care what this person thinks about me? But entertainers like, please like me, please like me, please like me, please like me, because their dad fucked their mom and left.
I don't even know if he paid for Carnegie Deli. I mean, you know what I mean? Got a couple Dr. Brown sodas and a corned beef. You can't, please.
But that's how greatness is fucking made.
It is, huh?
Yeah, it's how it's fucking made, dude. I mean, if Steve Jobs wasn't left on a fucking doorstep, we wouldn't have Apple. If he had good, loving Syrian parents, first of all, he'd be in Syria.
Right.
But what's he going to do in Syria?
Elon Musk's dad, no good.
No good.
No good.
No good.
Bill Gates' parents?
Bill Gates' parents, probably no good.
Not the best.
Yeah, I mean,
He was like, I'm going to steal this interface from Xerox to get my father's love.
Yeah, what we're basically saying is Bill Gates, no good. Why are you shorting Tesla stock, but you care about the environment? Why are you doing that? Well, Elon wants to know. Elon paid him back in a very childish way.
On Twitter?
On Twitter. He
I saw
did that like pregnant.
That hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. But also it does kind of hurt that I see his perspective. If you're somebody who's like claiming you're for all this good stuff, and then this dude makes a car that is kind of pushing the world in that direction off of gas, why would you hope for him to fail?
Right.
He is shorting it.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
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 So Bill Gates is shorting Tesla stock.
Right.
And he got pissed about that. I love those billionaire wars.
Well, he's putting, I mean, basically for him to buy Twitter, he's using the Tesla stock as leverage,
Yes.
right? So if anything goes bad, Tesla could fall half. I mean,
Yes.
it could turn into half, which is scary.
It is scary. And he is, I think Elon, he is what he seems to be. You know, like I think the people who are the most themselves are the easiest to critique because they're putting it all out there.
Right.
He like goes on Twitter and he's fucking tweeting irresponsible things that people who do that, he's like, he's got less to hide. I always trust someone more who's willing to just be like, I'm fucking stupid, I'd make mistakes, than someone who's like Bill Gates is like, you know, just quiet and being like, you know,
Sweater vest.
yeah, just kind of donate to my foundation and let's go try this vaccine. You're going like, what are you so into this for?
Right.
At least you can get a sense of what Elon Musk is into. Like he's excited by the future, going to more, like he explains it, he says it. You talk to Bill Gates and it's just kind of like something, it's like, you know, Bill Gates is putting on some sort of head and going to a party. You know there's an eyes wide shut party that Bill Gates attends. Josh Peck did not endorse what I just said.
Not at all.
That is a Yannis Pappas opinion.
But yeah, but I thought Michael Rappaport had a good take on Elon when he was like, that's how you 100% know that money doesn't buy happiness, when the richest man in the world
Very funny.
tweets that much,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't want to be on social media and I've got enough runway for the next, 18 months.
Right.
So like if I was, if I had billions, would I be on social that much? I don't think so.
Yeah, we did our bonus last week was about I was trying to guess when he's going to get in trouble, because Twitter will, if you start tweeting you get a little loose, you're gonna mess up big time.
Definitely.
And it's almost fun. I think like Twitter Chicken would be a fun game.
Yeah.
If like you're just like, that could be good. Like just if you and your buddies make a pact and we're like, we're gonna take this tweet and we're gonna see who will keep it up for longer.
Right.
And like you and your buddy just go like, it's just Josh Peck just tweets the most fucking. If he just tweets something that J.K. Rowling would tweet, you know what I'm talking about. And he just tweets it, and then you just sit there and like you take his phone and you got to chase the person around, try to get the erase button. It would be fun. Twitter Chicken is a fun thing.
I mean,
let's pitch it as a show. We take fucking celebrities, we take people in Hollywood, and we make them tweet wild shit, and we see who's willing to keep it up longer.
I love it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, I'm so terrified to even, I remember your joke, Hollywood's 9/11, when the slap happened. I remember like wanting to write something, like I was short circuiting. I was in a hotel room in Tennessee. I'm like, did I just see this? And I think I tweeted like, did that just happen? And I was terrified to write that.
Right.
Because I was like, to even comment even remotely on something controversial, I'm like, am I just completely shooting myself in the foot?
I get it.
And is there any payoff, right? Like, because this is what I think, like, even if 9 out of 10 times I'm right and it gets retweets and people are like, oh, you're the funniest. If the one time I'm wrong and I get killed for it, would I have said, I wish I'd never tweeted in the first place?
Right.
Probably.
Yes. It's an interesting thing. Because technology has, everyone's sharing more than they used to.
Right.
Everyone is trying to get famous. Even, look, now we have like famous fucking professors. There's professors making content. They have shows. There's like, there's a bunch of professors or scientists or whatever. Now they have Patreon pages. They have their own podcasts and shows. So everyone's trying to get known. It's like the way to make money now. Like it pays better than teaching at whatever fucking school you were teaching at. And now there's celebrities are online because a lot of eyeballs are online. So it's like you got to promote on there. So it's like this. The old world and the new world. The old world where everyone used to just like, they didn't have access. So like, you know, if you were Josh Peck, you could go fucking do an 8-ball. And the only people who would know about it is other actors who were also doing 8-balls.
The other people in the lobby of the Chateau Marmont. Right.
And people knew to keep their fucking rat fake mouth closed.
$20 to the valet. Don't fucking say anything.
Josh Peck was not here. He was not making out with the floor. He did not piss on the side of that guy's Benz. You didn't see nothing. Men in Black, look in the light.
I did not ask to do a rail up where John Belushi did his last one.
So there was this separation. Now there's like all these apps where there's a lot of people and like people can share their thoughts. I think it's kind of ironic that like the thoughts are what get people in trouble. Like people don't say, you know, like people don't. It's like, are we really pretending? Are we really all going to pretend that somebody has not said something bad? It's like if you're yelling at me for saying something bad, are you really going to pretend that you didn't say something bad? It just wasn't recorded. Like, can anyone look anyone in the eye and truthfully say they've never said something bad?
No,
it's not. It's impossible. Yeah. So it's like, why aren't we going into it with that understanding? Going like, I'm not going to be that much of a douchey hypocrite to be like, this guy said that, and you know, I said some shit.
We're all in glass houses, and what I find fascinating is when you fuck up, your life becomes your defense, right? Because people then do an immediate forensics on your life, and they're like, has he done enough things to where we go, maybe this really is him,
right? Like
finally we saw a crack in the armor, we're like, this really is you, or was this just a random fuck up,
right?
And that's, you know, that's a good testament to live a good life.
Right.
You know, and don't be, like, I find there are people who fucked up and they are paying for it. And then there's also people who are paying an asshole tax.
Right.
The thing that they did, probably they might have been able to get away with it, but there were so many transgressions. They treated people so poorly. They said so many bad things that eventually people were like, you're done. We're done.
Right. Some of the stuff is kind of good and karma. Sometimes you're like, that guy had it coming.
Right.
This era provided. And sometimes you're going like, I guess it depends on the forensics.
Yeah.
I know people are curious. I'm curious. What's it like, you know, being like a known, successful actor in Hollywood now with that culture? What's it feel like day to day? Like, I already get that. You're a little nervous to tweet. I understand that.
Sure.
Anyone should be, because it's up there forever. I mean, I'm sometimes nervous. I just go for it because I'm fucking stupid. There's a reason why we're fucking in the first apartment I bought. You know, but I also feel like, you know, I'm a stand-up, I'm a comic. We're supposed to speak recklessly.
No, you guys have a wide berth.
Yeah, we're like the hot shit. We get away with shit.
Yeah, that's what you should.
Yeah, I was just kidding.
But we need it. I think maybe I heard it on your pod, like that every great king had like a kick-ass jester.
It's got to be.
Yeah, because they need to look at themselves.
Got to be. And that's why I love the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Somebody tweeted that. I retweeted it. I can't remember who did, but I agree. Oh, is this, he's a funny kid. He's like he's a smart kid. He's like a comic in England. He's a little kind of popular, but he tweeted something about how important that tradition is. And I agree. I think the White House Correspondents' Dinner is necessary. It's a good tradition. If you can go in there and make fun of the president, that means that our democracy is kind of healthy. Right. When you can't, there's something up.
Do you think that when Trump was in office, there were some talks about like, Don, we should do the Correspondents' Dinner, but we're going to have some comedians that love you.
Anthony Cumia is going to host this year.
We're going to have Larry the Cable Guy. No, I'm just assuming. I don't know. We're going to have Dennis Leary's going to host.
Yeah, Nick DiPaolo. Let's talk about Hillary Clinton's a cunt. That would be his opening joke.
Could you imagine if it was just all comedians that were in his pocket?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's not a good look that he didn't want to do that. You know, if you're a president, you don't want to do that, no matter who you are, I'm going like, why don't you want to do that? What's up with that?
Right.
You should be able. Yeah, I mean, Trump's not a guy. He's a guy who can sling, but I don't know if he can take. You know?
No, guys like that never can.
He can't take it. No, he can't take it. He's like, he likes to sling it. He can't take it.
Yeah.
Which means he's insecure, highly insecure. He's what you call, I think, a toxic narcissist. I think would be the type of narcissist he is.
Malignant.
Malignant narcissist.
Malignant.
Fuck. You were just smarter than me on that.
I didn't go
one.
to college.
It's malignant narcissist. Toxic narcissist is just something that somebody's yelling at a bar about Amber Heard right now.
Right.
And somebody, if nobody's there to correct them and go, it's actually malignant. She's actually malignant. And the guy goes, why don't you shut the fuck up? Fucking, here's another course.
Right.
That conversation, someone is saying toxic narcissist over a course. Someone is saying malignant narcissist over a Stella.
There, an IPA.
Right. Some a little more, somebody with a little bit more education.
With a little more hops.
A little more hops in it. Yeah.
Right.
So you get the role. I know at people. I'm just interested. I know everyone's probably asking, how did you start? But I'm fucking. So you get the role.
Yeah.
You start doing it. Do you start getting pussy right away?
No, because I'm 300 pounds.
You're 300 pounds, but you're fucking on television back when, there was nothing else. It was television.
My closest relationship was with the Domino's delivery girl. She'd give me more ranch. I'd be like, she loves me.
You were a kid who liked to eat at that point.
I was a kid who liked to eat. I mean, look, this is how it went. It doesn't make sense. So I'm doing stand-up.
Is you losing violent? Is you losing weight violence against plus-size people?
Could be.
It could be. Has anyone given you shit? Been like, you should have been more proud of your physique?
Well, people will bring up body positivity, which I think is totally fair. I just want to be like, in 1999.
I want to take note that your tone is very PR controlled, and I love it right there. I noticed that too. Body positivity is a very positive thing.
That phrasing.
Did you hear the tone change?
Well, who says body positivity?
Yeah, he heard the buzzword. Yeah, body positivity.
Mr. Pappas.
I love it. I get it. I would do the same fucking thing. Especially if I'm coming in here, I'm gonna be like, look, I'll go wild with him, but here's the topics I'm gonna fucking dance around.
I know. I'm coming up here. I'm like, I heard him interview the kid.
Like, yeah, my mom got fucked by my mom. Yeah, my mom fucking fucked my mom. He fucked my mom. The guy I don't fucking know. He was some guy who was wearing tassels and he fucked my mom and I'm bored. I'll go with you. And then I'm like, do fat people hate you because you got skinny? Body positivity, Yannis. Body positivity is a very serious issue that all right.
Well, I'm walking up here and I'm like, well, I'm such a fan. I'm like, so I know how you usually, but then he interviewed the kid who does sketches on the subway and he's pretty light. I'm like, so do I be like that. Couple softballs.
So what were you saying?
In 1999, there was no body positivity.
Right, because people were telling the truth about it.
Not.
They were going, hey, that's not healthy.
I would go into, and this would be from my own family members, there seemed to be this idea that I would walk into a room when I was overweight, 12 years old, 200 plus pounds, and I would see a flicker go off in someone's eye, and I'd be like, they're going to comment. They're going to say something about my weight. And it was almost as though either they were mean or they were so worried about me that they felt they needed to shame me to get me to do something. Or maybe he doesn't know he's this fat. I'd be like, trust me, I know. I shop in the dog section of Macy's. It says fucking husky on my pants. This is upsetting. And so I'm fat, but I'm also fulfilling a niche, right? Because I'm on Drake and Josh, and Drake is
right. So you almost had to stay fat a little bit,
right. And I knew, I was like, this equation works. The skinny straight man to the funny fat guy. This has worked throughout history,
right?
And then also you have people telling you while I was there. I mean, granted, most people were pretty supportive, but certainly they were like, you're one of 4 guys, right. Talented, funny, big guys. If you lose weight, you're going to audition against Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right.
And I mean, he doesn't audition, but I would audition against Miles Teller, and I'd see him walk into an audition. I'd be like, have fun on the role, Miles. Go fuck myself. Yeah. He's very talented.
There's something very honest about the Hollywood brutal honesty.
Yeah.
And that the superficial. It's because the way you just described that is dude, you're boiling him down to oh, and now he's got to compete with other guys. Everyone's kind of looked as a type or.
Totally.
It's like that, right?
And then.
How much does that infect your brain going I got to stay I'm the fat funny guy or. Because they always do that. Hollywood kind of makes you. Because they look at you that way. Because they know they're looking for a role for that. And they're looking to plug it in. Does that infect you at all where you're going I have to stay the fat funny guy? Or if I become the hot guy, I can't compete with,
Yeah.
James Franco?
You're just opening up there's just a much bigger pool of talent of like average looking guys who are going out for that one role. And for me at that time, it was like you were either the funny best friend or the bully as the big guy. Granted, like 3 years later, Judd Apatow would come around and be like, no, I'm going to make people like Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill famous. And that sort of led the way to like a non-traditional type being able to lead a movie. But in the early 2000s, it was a dream. It wouldn't have happened. So I knew I'd have to lose weight, and it would behoove me to do it before I gave away my teens.
Right.
And I'm like, if I'm going to give up my 20s, why even lose weight at that point? Like, then I'll just be a fat 30-year-old and be like everybody else. Right. But like, I should really do it now. And I did it. Like between 17 and 19, I lost about 100.
Was there some fear like when I lose this, I'm going to lose my career?
No, I mean, because we were still doing Drake and Josh. And
so you got skinny during Drake and Josh?
Yeah, like between seasons 2 and 4.
Right.
So
how did they write that in?
They didn't.
Did you say you were sick, or
yeah?
Did you get a stomach staple operation?
Thyroid. I started taking thyroid medicine.
Yeah. How did they write it in? What did they say?
Luckily the writers were not exactly thin people, and the creator of the show is a big guy, and so he like. There were sometimes like little jokes, but it was never like low hanging fruit, hacky, funny fat guy jokes. Right. It was like I was funny and nerdy, but I had like all the best jokes and super smart. And Drake was kind of on the show, kind of dumb, but like handsome and musical. So it was a good balance. So then eventually when I lost weight, that dynamic was still there. I just looked like a different human. Right. Yeah.
Now you and Drake, what's it like for you guys to still be such good friends?
It's really outstanding.
I just did I think I got a brain tumor. Mr. Roper? How dope was that, dude?
Why?
Three's Company, the Mr. Roper looked to the camera. Do you remember that?
I didn't watch a lot of Three's Company.
That's right. Shit.
Too young.
Suzanne Summers?
Fuck. Suzanne Summers. John Ritter may be the best sitcom actor of all time.
Brilliant.
He just he died of a brain aneurysm young. But I mean, John Ritter was... I mean, how great was John Ritter?
Crazy.
And so it was John Ritter, Suzanne Summers, and the black-haired one. Yeah. And Mr. Roper.
And then he had another big sitcom like that he was on like right around when he passed away.
Yeah, he was on something big. I can't remember. Three's Company was so iconic. And there was Mr. Roper and then Mr. Furley, right? Mm-hmm. So Mr. Roper, the first landlord, and it was like revolutionary at the time. He would break the fourth wall,
really,
and do this look to the cat like I just did. It was a total Mr. Roper. That's Mr. Furley. They were, and it's crazy.
I remember him. Yeah.
And it's Don Knotts, and it's crazy because they were both really good. It was like a successful sitcom. I don't know if this happens a lot, where there's a very successful character and a very successful sitcom with a beloved character that leaves, and then another guy comes in and does the same role and nails it in a different way, but and is equally as loved.
But he's playing the same role.
He played the same role.
Like
he was a different landlord.
On Fresh Prince. Huh? Aunt Viv on the Fresh Prince.
Exactly.
Okay, so just replaced, and they're like, audience not smart. They don't need to know.
Yes. Well, no. I think they replaced them. Like Mr. Roper was first, right?
Got it.
I think Mr. Roper was first, and he was the one that did the camera thing, and it was amazing. And they were totally different personalities, but they were both like massively funny, and they both worked for different reasons. Like, you know, they were so good, dude. I mean, that's when sitcoms were. I mean, Three's Company. I bet you if you watch it now, probably holds up. It was so good.
You know what has great jokes? Cheers.
Cheers has writing is incredible. Brilliant. Yes,
amazing.
But I know I don't know these guys, but I know these guys having been on sitcoms for a lot of my life. Because sitcom is the day job for actors.
Right.
It's the best day job on earth.
Right.
And like you go, I mean, when an actor starts complaining on a sitcom, you know it's all over. Like their connection to reality has ended.
And why is that?
Because you literally. By the time, I'm going to give you the schedule of a sitcom. Monday, table read. Nice spread. They get a nice spread. Fruits, bagels, assortment of Danish. Nice. You do the table read from 10 to 11. Yeah. Then they go, hour break. Writers are gonna meet up after this. Then writers do something. Maybe you rehearse. maybe you don't go home. It's enough. Tuesday, you go to work, you get there 9 or 10. You rehearse for 3 or 4 hours. You do a run through of the whole show for all the writers so they can watch it. Done. Home by 4.
Yeah.
Great. Wednesday, same thing. New jokes.
Yeah.
Better jokes. They learned something, these fucking writers. Thursday, maybe you shoot for a couple hours. Friday, audience comes. You do the show in front of them. It's done.
So the hardest part is memorizing the lines.
Yeah, but it's also not. I mean, even when it's great, it's not like Shakespeare. Like, I mean, it can only be 22 minutes.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not that. It's just a beautiful. And obviously, when it's done, it can be genius.
Right.
But it's a nice, cushy job.
It's not coal mining.
No. And you're in LA, you know, like you're not in some random like town that's got a tax incentive and you're like, I'm missing my kid's ballet recital. You're like, I'm going to like the Warner Brothers lot and I'm like rubbing elbow. I'm saying hi to the people on the tour.
Yeah.
It's it's pretty damn nice.
Child actor, drinking problem, those things go together a lot of the times.
Totally.
Yeah.
And also
not everyone makes it out to the other side.
But I was also overweight, right? So obviously there was enough data to support I overdo.
Yeah.
I overdo it.
Yeah. You like to eat a lot. You like to drink a lot.
Well, I lost,
was drinking your thing?
No, it was drugs.
Nice.
You're not a drug guy.
No, I'm not a drug guy.
Never, huh?
No. It's not, I don't have that thing. I eat too much. Like I'm a little thinner. I'm a guy who can blow up quick.
Yeah.
Like you'll see, like I can go on a vacation and come back 300 pounds. Like I don't have that thing, that cutoff switch with food. But I don't have the problem with anything else. So it's like food is my thing. Food, anxiety, those are my two biggest things. I can obsess. Yeah. I can be one of those people that gets caught in those. I'm addicted to obsession. I obsess about something. Or I could eat. But the drugs never got me.
Yeah,
I guess I'm a fucking lame. Because if you're gonna be addicted to something,
nerd alert.
Yeah. Josh Peck fucking parties.
I did for 4 years.
Yeah.
That was a total cliche.
Yeah, it was fun though, right?
I mean, it was fun, and then it was fun with problems, and then it was all problems.
Everything has a cost, but
and it was a bait and switch. There was diminishing returns. Like for the first 3 weeks, I'm like, I'm handsome,
right?
I'm funny. Like it literally for me. I say this in the book, not to try to do some inadvertent plug.
Do it. That's why you're. I mean, let's be honest. You're not here to fucking hang out with me.
But like I always say that if the first time you do drugs, you confuse it. Like I confuse doing drugs for being alive, right? Because the moment like I ingested this thing, all of a sudden it's like I wasn't tripping. I didn't feel like I wanted to go to sleep. I felt like smart and interesting and charming. I had all this confidence. I didn't have that shitty committee in my head going, it's all gonna end. Your dad didn't want you. He slept with your mom. He didn't pay for dinner. Like, you know? It was like,
he didn't even pay for the Carnegie Deli?
I don't know. That might be, that's conjecture. Okay. And I feel
there's a good chance of it. Considering how he handled it afterwards, there's a chance of it. There's a chance that at least it was a Dutch situation.
That's what gets his family to come after me. They're like, you can slander our father, but he always picked up the bill.
There's one thing he did. He's paid for that Reuben.
But yeah, so all of a sudden for me, it felt like this was the guy I wanted to project, this like effortless, cool dude. And I was 18 years old and I'm like, great. I've spent my whole life ultra worried about, I can't mess up. I'm an actor. If I lose this TV show, then my mom and I aren't going to pay our rent. Right. But now I'm 18 and I lost 120 pounds. And like in a weird way, I thought I was owed this time to be stupid and typical. And I was.
You kind of were owed it a little bit.
I get. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, you know, how could you not have a little, what do the Amish call it? Rumspringa?
Rumspringa.
You had a little child actor rumspringa. Everyone, because you work a lot. Although it's a cushy job, you're working. You're famous, so it's like hard to have like a childhood, right? Like even Jennifer Capriati smoked crack. I mean, it happens, right?
Who is that?
She was a tennis player. She like was winning. She won, like she was like #1 in the world, and then she's like smoking crack. And part of the thing that when she was asked about it, she was like, it's so, you know, they take these kids so young, they don't have a childhood, they start competing.
That's
and
right.
They go play tournaments, and she just wanted to be a kid for a little bit. And since you don't have a normal childhood, you get to a point where you got to make up for lost time and, you know, smoke crack for a little bit.
You said that, not me.
Yannis Pappas again. At least a little blow? Did you do a little blow?
I did.
You did do a little blow.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Did you like blow? Did you like the hoo-hots? Jesse loves the hoo-hots.
Does he?
Yeah.
Jesse, you holding right now?
Love it. Yeah.
Why, you got some?
want
I don't
to
do
get
that
some?
shit anymore. Why, you got some?
You like that white horse?
Oh, it's the best.
You like that book of sugar?
Loved it. Loved it.
You like that good calcium? Oh my god! Yeah, I was a total cliche, and I was acting a fool and being an idiot, and I quickly this was literally maybe a good month,
Yeah,
and then the next 3.5 years was just trouble and breaking my mom's heart and ruining my reputation. I mean, I always say I wasn't a monster; I was just a bummer.
Yeah.
So I was, showing up late and not being reliable. And I think at 21 years old, I just realized that if I didn't get this thing under control then, there was a really good chance that I was going to hit some bottoms that would be hard to come back from.
Smart. I think you had your cake and you ate it too a little bit, which if you can do, if you can have a little phase where you do drugs and get out of it, go for it. That's what I say, kids. Do it. Have some fun. And life is short.
Do you think about that having a young kiddo? Because I think about that with my kid.
Yeah, I don't want her to do drugs at all.
Me either.
Yeah.
But also with this fakak, the fentanyl, right?
Yes. No, the fentanyl's a big problem.
It's
you know, a
terrifying.
kid died during one of my shows.
No.
I was doing a show in Pennsylvania, and the kid died from fentanyl in the middle of the show.
Ugh.
The show stopped, and they ran up on stage, and I didn't know what was going on, and a kid fucking died.
No.
Fentanyl. Yeah, it's everywhere.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, you don't want kids doing it because of that. It's really bad. Now, what do you mean by happy people are annoying? That's the name of the book. What does that mean exactly?
It means my book agent said this is going to sell books. And then they said yellow really pops on Amazon.
Because the book I want to read is Josh Peck, The Coke Years. I hope that fucking book comes out when you're a little older. You don't give a shit as much after your podcast blows up. What if your podcast blows up? Are you going to care as much?
I mean, a podcast is literally the key to be able to say whatever you want.
Would you rather have a fucking huge podcast or Turner and Hooch 2?
I love Turner. I'd love a big, huge podcast.
Yeah,
I mean, I think a podcast is the answer to everyone's problems or all anyone's problems.
Right.
Right?
The independence, the kind of it's gotten very financially. It's gotten lucrative.
Yeah.
It's fun.
You
and
can still get 100 mil from Spotify and say whatever the fuck you want. And still have ads. I'm like, Joe, I got to hear about Athletic Greens. You got 100 mil. I'm still hearing about Athletic Greens.
That's fucking funny. Yeah. Joe, I mean, really, dude? Fucking the Cash App still? The Cash App?
I mean,
didn't you get paid already?
really?
Yes.
Lucy's?
I never thought about that. Yo, you still fucking, how much money do you need?
I remember when Howard went to Sirius and there was $100 million a year.
Yeah.
And I'm having to hear about some diamond broker in Philly. I'm like, it's enough.
Yeah, you got enough. Are you a Howard guy?
Yeah.
Jesse's a huge Howard guy.
Loved him. Yeah.
He's been listening his whole life. Yeah.
Since
Still?
I was a kid. Every now and then I check in. It's too much time. It's
Has he gotten annoying now that he's rich and old? Has he gotten a little, because he's a germaphobe.
His COVID stuff is unbearable.
Yeah,
He's like a COVID hysteric.
And that part of it is because of his personality.
Yeah, right.
Which he probably refuses to acknowledge a little bit, or does he acknowledge that, hey, this
No.
is a little my shit?
He's unbearable when it comes to COVID.
Yeah.
Just unbearable. Yeah.
Yeah,
In
well,
my opinion.
now you know where Jesse stands on the COVID vaccine.
No, and I get, but it's also he's almost 70?
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
almost 70. Yeah.
Literally probably the GOAT for
Dude,
almost
he's
40
been-
years? How do you keep
Yeah.
it going?
He's been the funniest guy on the planet for many, many years.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, what he did for the amount of time he did it and the consistency is he is the GOAT.
Insane.
4 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's insane,
Yeah.
dude. Insane and very entertaining. And I still think to this day, the best interviewer.
Absolutely.
I think
Amazing.
the best interviewer. He asks the questions people want to hear. He doesn't, because it's on the radio and his genre and the way he was, he asked those questions if you're talking John Stamos or Josh Peck, that's what you want to know.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, sir, Josh. You don't want to ask the questions I've been asking. Like, sir, how did you get into this? So child actor, how do you go from child actor to... So when you did the whackness, was making the transition from child actor to dramatic actor, what was that line? He'll hear like, oh, you used to do coke, and then Stern will go in and be like, let's hear about some Josh Peck coke stories.
Right. Yeah. And then he'll like bring up something. He'll be like, and what about Rick? I'm like, you know Rick?
Yeah.
Did you hear about Rick? I'll be like, Baba Booey told me. You're like, wow.
Yeah, he's the best at it. So what does it mean happy people are annoying?
I think it just meant that throughout my life, and I don't mean to project, but I feel like many people like me are like, I assumed happiness was reserved for the generationally wealthy, the attractive quarterbacks. Like, I basically just figured that I was born without like a manual for life that everyone else seemed to get. And then
A dad. Usually a dad is the one who would do that for you.
That's
it. Right.
That's what the manual should have been going. That's so funny. You're the best. You're the best. Yeah. When's Spotify giving you 100?
I gotta get that 100 milli, baby.
They're nuts.
Yeah, give me it. Yes, that's basic. I get, but you got things. Jesse loves reading these types of books. You gonna read Josh Peck's?
Absolutely. I'll listen to it.
He fucking came.
It's a good Audible. It's I read it. It's you know.
Can you believe he showed up and didn't give us a fucking? I gotta buy the fucking thing.
This is how bad I am at show business.
That's how fat I am.
I didn't even think.
Right.
It didn't cross my mind to bring you one because I'm an idiot.
Right.
I should have went and picked one up at Hudson News.
We will support. Not that you need it, but we will support.
Are you kidding me? Thank you. And you came and did the Male Models podcast.
Go check out the Male Models. That was a lot of fun.
Dude, you
got a great personality. What do you hide?
A lot.
Yeah, because you kind of have like a really good, likable personality.
I want to be the anti-famous guy.
Is that what you want to be?
I've met so many. Tell me if you're like this. I've realized this later in life. You know, in like moments when you're a kid or a teenager, even in your 20s, where you have some awkward interaction with someone and you go, "What did I say?"
Right.
Like, I must have said the wrong thing. What did I do? If I have an awkward interaction now, I go, "It's you." Right. I go, "I'm a good hang."
Yeah. I love that.
You know, I'm fine.
You guys are dick.
Maybe it's you.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling myself all the time.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
It's probably true. I'm not just saying that. I'm not being obsequious.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm not being obsequious. You kind of got a good energy about you. Like there's something like kind of like real and kind of like natural and kind of, I mean, you're here.
I'm
doing
honored.
this.
If you get the Spotify deal, I'll be upset if you change.
If you
the
get
studio.
the Spotify deal, I won't ask you to be a guest. I won't need you anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. You'll be like, you'll be calling. I'll be like, really? You got Dr. Rhonda Patrick? I'm like, that was the guest that he bumped me for. What are you gonna buy with all that money?
With all the Spotify money?
What are we gonna? 10%?
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a new producer. First thing I get is Spotify.
I'm gonna buy a resume.
Yo, if I get a Spotify deal, I'm gonna be like, okay, we need a producer. I think I need a woman. I think I need like, let's go 28 to 36, single. Just kind of hot doesn't hurt.
Is your mom still headhunting? Because I might need a job.
She, sometimes when we get in fights, she'll be like, listen, I'll go back and work tomorrow. I'm like, you're 77. I'm like, where you going? Yeah. I was like, I take care of your Celebrex. Right. Like, I cut you off. You're not going to be able to leave this apartment.
Yeah. So what is it look like? What's the outlook now on like movies and stuff? Being like an actor, because movies don't make the money they used to make. Less people are watching them. Theaters are kind of like everything goes to Netflix or Hulu. Is that the goal now, to get like another Hulu show you've had or like something like that like hits, or are you more like comedy? Because you do both and you do both well. So it's like or both. You're just going to continue. Like if one falls in your lap, you'll do it.
Yeah.
Turner and Hooch fucking 4 if it comes around.
I'm down to clown.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, but like I was really incredibly lucky last year. I had like, I worked on Turner and Hooch, which was Disney Plus, and I did How I Met Your Father on Hulu. So obviously a lot of fresh new ideas in Hollywood. Yeah. I'm the reboot king. Yeah. Shout out. Yeah. But both of those things, loved it. Like really good shows. And then I did this movie for Netflix. So like 3 streaming services. Yeah. So I don't know. I think the dream of like doing some gigantic, movie that goes straight to theaters. Maybe it's slightly anachronistic,
Right.
I don't know, antiquated.
If you don't know that word, you know what to do.
And with that being said, I have a very small part in the new Chris Nolan movie.
Chris
but other
fucking
than
Nolan.
that,
That's like the kind of level you got to do now.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a dream. The fact that I even get to like hang out on that set.
Yeah.
But like, if that was my life regularly,
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, that's DiCaprio energy,
yeah,
baby.
yeah, that's DiCaprio energy. That's a whole level, dude. That's a whole.
I'm glad I got to visit.
Yeah.
Like, and if I never get back to that moment, I'm glad that I got a couple days of that experience.
It's a great experience. You did a sitcom with Johnny Stamos, which was kind of critically well received. Was it just that the landscape had changed? Was that kind of the reason? Was it like a sitcom in an era where that kind of wasn't going anymore? Because the critics loved it.
People loved it. He's great. Like he can't really miss when it comes to like as far as the love people have for him.
Yeah.
And it was weird because it was like Stamos, and then who's sort of loved by many different generations, and then his like less attractive.
I mean,
son.
you went from fat kid to hot guy.
Yeah,
I mean, look at Josh Peck, dog.
Handsome.
I mean, you're fucking holding your own next to Johnny Steelface. Come on, let's take a. Where's my fucking glasses? I mean,
He looks a little like the guy from Entourage.
dude, Peck
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yo.
I get that or young Leno.
Peck is dude. Peck is in a photo. Like, dude, when I stand next to Stamos, it looks like he's a social worker. I mean, because that's how you know. That's the test. If you could stand next to Stamos and it doesn't look like he's a caseworker, I mean, you're holding in that picture, dog.
Yeah.
I mean, you're holding strong on the handsome fucking
You
scale.
gotta get a little of that sun-kissed glow, though. Look how sun-kissed
he's got.
is.
Yeah, well, Stamos.
But that's Greek.
Yeah, that's Greek.
Or is that spray tan?
That could be a little. What was it? Harrison, the guy who played Dracula, who always spray tan. What was his name?
George Harrison.
George Harrison. Yeah, it's a little spray tan. Look at Johnny.
Spray.
He's just. It's what's he? 57, 56?
He's 56. I think 56
Yeah.
or 7. He looks
He's
so good.
lean.
Yeah, he looks
good.
He looks so young and good.
And speaking of food, like this is a guy who literally can have like a turkey sandwich 6 out of 7 days of the week and be stoked.
It's it.
Yeah, he's one of those annoying people that forgets to eat.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never forgotten to eat a meal.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's anorexic is what you're saying.
He's just perfect. It's so annoying.
He's got bulimia.
Listen, I've got my own eating issues.
So the sitcom, was it fun with him? This is where you guys became friends.
Before
you the reason he contacted me? Like, how did Stamos reach out to me?
I don't know
Yeah.
exactly. I think
Because you were a guy who was listening to podcasts.
I was always a fan, and thank God, like, besides the fact that John and I you know how this is in showbiz. It's rare that you become good friends with anyone.
Absolutely.
Especially when they're John Stamos.
Right. Or you can have friends that you think are real friends and then something happens.
Right. And you text them, you get the green bubble.
Right.
You know, and you're like, I know you have an iPhone, you fuck you.
Right.
But like we became good friends, and so sometimes I feel like I'm like sort of his young person correspondent. Like he'll like run shit by me and he'll be like, is this dope?
Right.
Like,
Hey, is this
Yeah.
He comes with the real boomer energy, huh?
Yeah,
Hey, yeah, is this dope?
you like this Instagram caption? I'll be like, do it, Johnny. You're the man.
Yo, Josh, give me a call back. I just want to find out if this is fire. I want to find out if this new idea I have is fire. He doesn't even say fire. He goes fire.
By the way, are phone calls still dope, or should I just be texting?
What's up, Josh? What's up, man? Yeah, I'm coming back from Coachella. Just want to know. I want to know if this new idea has got is lit. Call me back.
Hey, I just heard this guy, Little Uzi Vert, and I think he's bodacious.
Does your generation know Stamos 35?
Oh my God,
You
the
knew
whole
full story,
world knows John.
Yeah,
Stamos.
John Stamos is like that's icon. John Stamos.
He's just literally, yeah, he's the best. So I just remember him like bringing you up And he's like, yeah, this Yannis guy, he loves me. Like,
Fucking made it about him, didn't he? You know, it's not what he says when I'm around. He goes, but you know that's what he says when I'm not. He goes, hey, guy's a fan of mine, so I let him hang out. You know, I mean, what do you want? His parents are dead. I'm filling in.
he loves you.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's the best. He's the best there is. And so the fact that I wrote him, I think that you did the pod, or I went to go see you at the Improv, and he's like, I'm jealous. I'm not okay with this.
He's like next level nice, where it's like I'm waiting to find something out to be like, oh yeah, like so I'm waiting to find out like some John Wayne Gacy shit. I'm like, oh yeah, the reason why you're building that thing in your backyard is because there's bodies under there. Because he's so good. He's like so fucking chill. Like when you hang out with him, like especially like I'm a little older than you, so it was like John Stamos was like Full House was so big.
So big.
And John Stamos is like an American icon for being a hot guy. That like when you hang out with him, and I forget I'm like you have that kind of energy. It's kind of like he feels like a real like genuine guy. Yeah. And he's done some things for me like beyond like that, or like for my family and stuff, that's just like, wow, this guy's just like a really good guy. Like Bob Saget was lucky that he listened to him. You know, he's like anyone who was that close friends with him is lucky, because they were so close that like, you know, it's just anyone who, it seems like a guy that if you're friends with him, you're lucky. Because he's just like a nice guy.
And
do you feel that way?
He likes to be needed. Yeah. He loves to, like, if you need something, he wants to step up and be the one to help out. Yeah. And yeah, it's just like I start the podcast. He's the first one I call to be a guest.
When he does something for you, does he expect something in return? Does he hold it over your head? Is he that type?
Just like a good Instagram caption.
Yeah, that's all he needs.
I remember once he was like, what do you think of this? And I was like, you're 50. Yeah. And he's like, that's not fucking cool. And I'm like, you're right. It's not cool. Yeah.
Did you ever so you do the comedy thing very well. Did you ever want to do drama? Because you did dip your toe in it. You dipped your toe. You played the bully. You did drama. Yeah. The Whackness. That was like your second movie, right? Or it's like second or third drama kind of movie.
Yeah,
the
exactly
Whackness. Right. The Whackness was with Ben Kingsley, who's like, that's like having, I mean, there's a few people in that category.
Yeah, he's
to
the
act
dude.
Opposite. Like that's like Daniel Day-Lewis, Ben Kingsley.
Nicholson.
No, my guy.
State of Grace guy.
My guy.
State of Grace. Give me some else.
Underrated mob movie. My favorite. You State of Grace? You ever see it? I haven't. Gotta see State of Grace. Put that on the list. Oh yeah, State of Grace
Pacino,
with
De Niro, Keitel.
Played Batman.
Played Batman's chief
in the
Chief,
Nolan.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
Genius.
Bing, bing, bing,
I used to have a joke about like I want to see a movie with Gary Oldman and Daniel Day-Lewis and Kate Blanchett and Meryl Streep, and like they do everything. Grip. Like I just want like that. That's another level, dude.
Camera operator.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley. That's another fucking level of like you're watching, you're going like, holy shit. That's like acting. That's like, so Ben Kingsley, and he was incredible in it. You were fucking really good in that.
Thanks, man.
Like, yeah. And I didn't even know, because I'm not a pedophile, so I didn't know your show. Because like if an adult knows that show, you're going to be like, why do you know that show?
Right.
So that was all I knew about you until I went and looked at all the other shit. I was like, oh, he did that when he was young. And like, you know, I knew you from like social media. I'd seen like your stuff.
Right.
But I knew you from the Whackness, was like, because I was such a fan of that movie. I liked that movie because it also spoke to kind of like the way I grew up. Like we were kind of like those kids. We hung out in the city. My girlfriend, like I went to private school in the city, but I was the kid from Brooklyn.
Where'd you go?
I went to York Prep. York Prep is, well, York, you know about York Prep?
Yeah.
York Prep was like the private school for like rich kid rejects.
Right.
So it was like, if it was like you couldn't,
Choate.
Yeah. Like we were famous for, Liv Tyler went there. I knew her. Like me and Liv were, she was younger than me. She's like 2 years younger, but she was like best friends with my girlfriend. And we all hung out, Liv. But our school was famous for Robert Chambers, who murdered someone in Central Park. Wow. Robert Chambers murder, which was like in the, what was it, 80s, or it was like the biggest story in New York.
It was a huge story.
Huge story.
Like
really?
Yeah, because he murdered some, pretty young
Jennifer Levin. No, that was the chick in Gary Condon killed. Well, he did. It's not proven, but Gary Condon did 9/11 to get that story out of the
air. Oh, look at this kid.
Yeah. Prep school murder.
Yeah, the prep school murderer, they called him.
Right, so he looks like a Kennedy, you know, like.
But the funny thing about him was he was like a kid He lived on the Upper East Side, but he lived like he was like
You were right, Jennifer Levin.
Jennifer Levin. So he was like a poorer kid. He was he lived with his mom. You could have been. This could have been you.
That looks like my profile.
And it almost
right
looks
there.
like you.
He looks like he has an underbite, like me, an open
Christopher
bite.
Nolan. I'm talking to you right now.
Tell him.
You do the Robert Chambers movie. If Josh Peck does not play Robert Chambers in the Robert Chambers movie, you're stupid, Christopher
It's
Nolan.
going to Timothy Chalamet. There's no way.
Because if you kind of like, it's this, he's
I
a
can
handsome
see
guy
that.
in your way,
Thank you.
Yeah, in like a murderer way.
Yeah, right. Sociopath. Look, that's a nice.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's not a bad mugshot. Like,
No,
if
he's
he
a
wasn't
handsome kid.
in handcuffs. That'd be his Tinder profile photo.
He was a handsome kid, and he killed her like during rough sex, and it was like a big story. So that's like
Jesus.
that's what put York Prep on the map.
He choked her out in the park.
He choked her out in the park
with,
during
with
like
her underwear or something.
yeah,
like
it was
that,
like yeah. He claimed it was, and then he was caught spinning the doll.
yeah, they made a video.
They were making a home video. I don't know why killers always have home videos, especially back then before there was like cell phones. Like, why is there so much footage of Jeffrey Dahmer as a kid? Whenever they make those serial killer documentaries, they have tons of footage. If I killed someone, my parents didn't film anything. There's no home footage of me.
Right.
There will be no footage of me as a kid getting a present under the tree, as a cutaway while they're interviewing my mom. But like every serial killer is just a fuck. Look, and so he made this. This was before phones, so like nobody had cameras. But for some reason, he was at a party and they were recording it, and he made a joke about Jennifer Levin, and he twisted off the doll's head, and so it was like on every news channel where he was going. Ee!
Yeah, he did a creepy voice.
He did a creepy voice, and he was like making fun of it.
What
So it was a wild
creep.
story. Yeah, it was basically the Johnny Depp Amber Heard of its day. Dominated the headlines.
Wow, York Prep.
York Prep. So yeah, that's where I learned.
So what kids were you hanging out with? Dalton kids, Trinity, Collegiate?
No, we were York Prep was like that. It was like it was run by York Prep was interesting. So it was run by Mr. and Mrs. Stewart. I mean, how does this work on podcasts? Do I get in trouble? Who knows? So they were a married couple. She was like she wrote a book on like how to get into colleges. So, and he was like an English guy. He's like a mysterious English guy who came over here and opened this school, and they would like get you in, but yeah, they would get you in. Like I got thrown out from there, like towards the end. Like I got suspended. I was like a bad kid, but not like a bad-hearted kid. I was like a class clown. I was just class clown, so I would always get in trouble. But what they would do is they would kind of like fudge your grades and get you in places that you didn't deserve to get into, and that's what they were kind of famous for. Because like that was the school that parents who had a little money, but their kids like did a little drugs or like couldn't get into Columbia or Dalton or Riverdale or any of those. It was like the reject private school. And they also had like a lot of like poor kids that they did like financial aid for. So like a couple kids on our basketball team ended up playing Division I, like Raven Toomer. Like but it was like one of those, it was that was the school.
Right.
It was like a little bit of a scam, that school. Because I had like almost F's, and they just took it off my average when I applied to schools, and I got into like a few schools that probably I shouldn't have got into.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to American University, and my brother got me in there because I shouldn't have gotten there either.
In D.C.
In D.C., yeah.
What'd you major in?
History and American Studies.
Smart kid.
Not really. I basically got another high school diploma. When you go to college for English and history, it's just like a second high school diploma.
Well, in amongst the actor kids in LA, speaking of grifts, there's a place where they basically tell you, listen, you're going to come here and you're going to take your GED test. Yeah. And when you're done, you don't have to go to high school no more. You're like, yeah, well, that exists, a GED. They're like, right, but you're going to take it with our specialists. And you go, what's so special about them? And they're like, they give you the answers.
Right. You're not really taking a test. You're paying for a result.
Right. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because half of these kids, like, I wouldn't even trust them to drive.
They're going like, what score do you like? And you're going, what do you like?
Yeah, you're a B+ guy.
Are you a B+ guy? You're an A guy? Well, here's our price brochure.
Right.
B+, this can cost you that. We can bump you up to an A if you pay cash.
I mean, I went to Performing Arts High School in New York before I moved to LA. And then I went to LA and I'm working on this TV show, but I was also trying to go to like Beverly Hills High. I went to Beverly Hills Middle School when I was because I was in 8th grade.
So they filmed it out there.
They filmed it in LA. Yeah.
Right.
And
Was that weird being a New York kid? Because the whackness, it seemed like you were a New York kid.
yeah.
Were you planning on being a New York kid in that role? Was that like more you, or how did you do? Because you kind of you reminded me of like a lot of kids I knew, from the city that were kind of like that.
I mean, I grew up here till I was 14, but then even in LA, like I was like this hip hop kid who loved like streetwear, and I just loved the life. And I think that I remember at this time, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's about 1994 hip hop. I played a drug dealer in New York City who's trading weed for therapy from Ben Kingsley. And at that time, I would audition a lot against Miles Teller and Jonah Hill and Michael Cera.
Even Jonah Hill back then?
Yeah, because we're all about the same age.
Right, right.
And they would always beat me, and rightfully so. Much more talented. But I remember this like distinctly New York story. I'm 20 years old, and I'm like, I might be uniquely qualified for this one. Like, I might know how to play a drug addict, New York hip hop head a little bit. I just might understand this role a little bit differently than they can. So when I got it, it just felt like, yeah, this makes sense.
Right.
And then it was with Ben Kingsley. Like, I'm an acting nerd. My favorite movie is Searching for Bobby Fischer. Like, I fucks with Ben Kingsley. So I couldn't believe that I got this opportunity to be with him. And he just was like the best. I remember like you know, I would just like hang around him, and I would like ask him for advice, like to be this father figure. And he would never give me advice about acting or how to be more famous. And I really resented it for a long time. He'd always be like, make sure you surround yourself with good people. I'm like, yeah. What is this, PBS? I'm looking for some acts. Kingsley. And he would just be like, be a good person. I'm like,
Did he treat, like, was he kind of like, because he's Ben Kingsley, did he treat you like, all right, kid? Or was he more like, did you feel like you got his respect?
He was awesome. But, you know, you know, it was, he's Sir Ben. Like,
right.
If you gave him the respect and you were like, you're the dude, then he was like, you're cool. And I certainly saw a couple of people that were like, yo, Benny boy. And he was like, nope.
He wasn't into it.
Yeah.
And the girl, who was the girl again? She's like a big actress too now, right? Well, who's her name? Or is she not?
Olivia Thirlby.
Olivia Thirlby. She's a little bit of a piece.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She works a lot.
Yeah.
There was a few pieces in this.
Yeah. Who else was there?
Femke Janssen was hot in her day. She was a former model.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who did she play again? She played... who did Franka Jensen play again?
Kingsley's wife.
She played the wife, right. Olivia Thirlby, yeah. Mary-Kate Olsen was in there?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Shannon Briggs.
What's up with Alexander Flores, the kid in the bar? What's he doing? He's got a podcast.
He's a congressman.
I want to know what Kish Fredericks is up to. What's Police Officer 1 doing?
What about Blunt Boy?
Oh, man.
Blunt Boy's got it.
That's the director's brother, Ross Levine.
Do any of those guys, the peripheral actors, try to hit you up and be like, yo, Josh, come on, man.
Help me out.
Yo, Turner and Hoosh, can I get a little sign?
I think, like, you know, what you come to realize as an actor quickly is like no one can do nothing for you ever.
Right.
Like, and like the story of how Drake and Josh came to be was I was 12 years old and I would audition at Nickelodeon all the time because I was like, I'm chubby, funny, and ambitious. You need me.
Right.
Like, you know, I am your recipe. And so I would do like little things for them, like a showcase or a commercial. So I booked this movie Snow Day with like Chevy Chase, Chris Elliott, Pam Grier. Like,
I remember that movie.
crazy. And I'm 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm like talking shit to this guy one day, and he's just got like, he's on set and he's got like this great laugh, and I'm giving him stuff from my act. And my mom sidles up to me, Jewish mother, God bless her. She's like, you know who that is? That's the president of Nickelodeon. Like, tell him you want to be on All That or The Amanda Show or like all these great shows that you love. So I tell him, and 9 months later, he calls me and he's like, Josh, congratulations. I'm going to move you and your mom out to California. You're going to star in The Amanda Show.
Wow.
Which was Amanda Bynes.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you were on that.
Spun off Drake and Josh. But like, you never, that's once in the last 25 years that I met someone.
Who did something.
Well, not, but who had the power, right?
Right.
I always say like, mostly in life, you meet other people on boats. Sometimes you meet the water.
Right.
And somebody who, if they rise, you go with them.
Right.
And he had the power to give me an opportunity. And that was, yeah.
So did you go and talk to him like your mom said? You did?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And what was that combo like? What was
Who knows? It was high pitched and lispy.
Right.
So here's the deal. You need me. I mean, it makes no sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It never happens that way.
Do you think it was because of that convo, or was it because he thought you were just right for it? He was like looking through who he knew, and you think it was a little bit of both?
I think they were going into the second season of the Amanda Show, and they only had like 3 cast members or 3. Yeah, 3. So they
because he called you and said you got it. Like,
Yeah,
he didn't even want you to. He just knew.
He was like, "You're gonna go in an audition, but you got it."
Right, right.
But I need to do the right politics for the people involved.
Right, right.
And
I guess there was a reason he was guys like that getting those positions. They know.
they know.
They know. They're like, it's like, Lorne Michaels. That's what made him. He just knew. He saw talent and he just knew it.
Yeah.
So he just knew. He was like, so that probably didn't hurt that you talked to him.
No, I
Right.
mean, it certainly positioned me in that way, but he was the switch. Or the guy who did Grandfather, the Stamos show that I did, his name's Dan Fogelman, created This Is Us, he's a rainmaker, crushes it, brilliant guy, and he directed this movie called Danny Collins, and there were 2 scenes in the movie. I was going to play a valet, so, I've been bartender #1 before, but it was 2 scenes with Al Pacino, so I was like, I'm in, and I got the role.
Yeah.
So I'm talking shit to Al Pacino. I'm like, first Sir Ben, now Pacino. This makes no sense.
What was that like?
Who's the least talented person in this equation?
What was it being with Al Pacino? Did he talk to you back?
The best.
Wow.
Dude, in the middle of a scene, we're doing a take, and in the middle, he goes, "Oh." And I'm like, he's going full Pacino. He's doing it. Yeah. And he's so confident, and he's so free, and this sounds corny, but it's true. He's so free in his gift that he doesn't self-judge. There was no so when he did that, he was like, "Oh."
Just making Pacino noises.
And then he went back into his lines.
Yeah.
And it totally worked.
He went back into his...
what
does that mean when you go back into your lights?
It was in the middle of the scene.
Right.
So we're doing the scene, and then I ask him a question, and instead of taking a normal pause to be like, "Oh, well, I guess, yeah, I'll do it," he went, "Oh." And if you'd be in normal life, you'd be like, "Oh, it's a 7-year-old guy who doesn't give a shit,"
Right, right.
And he was so confident in it. I was like, this is why, besides 50 years of great work, you don't self-judge. You're not limiting yourself. You're not insecure. You're just I'll find my way back.
He's got that Pacino confidence.
That Pacino confidence. That
I
Pacino
heard
energy. Yeah,
the Pacino. I heard what does he do? You told me that.
What?
Was it you told me he gives you one take? He'll go I'll give you. Someone told me he's a guy who doesn't want to do a lot of takes. He's is that true? Did you hear that
about Robert Downey Jr.? He'll give you 2 takes.
Yeah, he'll say
on Howard.
Yeah, I heard that on Howard. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the Marvel movies. How many takes do you need in those?
Right.
Yeah.
But I heard about maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm mixing it up. But I heard Pacino was just this is what I'm going to give you. I'll give you 2, and then I'm not going to keep doing it over and over. Are there guys like that, actors who
Definitely.
go I'll give you 2, and
Yeah.
And you get that only after you become Pacino level. You can't. Are you at that level? You go, I give you 2.
No, I need more. I know I need more. You'd be like, these first 7 are a warm up. No, we did a bunch, but the guy who directed and wrote that movie was Fogelman. So then when Grandfather came about, I shoot him the little email. I'm like, I kind of look like him, but I said, if you think I'm right, I'll audition. If you don't, because you're the dude, you have weight in this. He's like, go for it. And then throughout the process, it felt like you had a big brother being like, he's good. He's a good fella. He's good. I can vouch for him.
So you proactively, that's interesting. So you were proactive. You emailed him. He didn't just sink you out, you pursued it.
But it's also what's so clear about acting in general. My acting teacher will tell me this sometimes. She'll I'll audition for something and I'll be like, oh, I didn't get it. I know it was that, it was that second scene. I didn't really have a good grasp of that scene. She'll go, Josh, it's NCIS Bay Ridge.
Right.
It's not fucking Hamlet.
Right.
She's like, there's probably 8 guys that could play this role.
Right.
So then it comes down to flavor.
Right. Kind of the look or with what they're looking for. Yeah.
That's right.
It's not really personal. Have you ever shit the bed? Have you ever shit the bed? You shit the bed. I know auditions, everyone shits the bed. But have you ever shit the bed in something you had where it was Turner and Hooch, or it was one of the movies you've done, or the Amanda Show, or Drake, shit the fucking bed.
Oh, I did
where
this
everyone
movie.
was had to redo it because of Josh.
Yeah, I did this movie Red Dawn that I'm just like decidedly awful in.
Yeah.
It's out.
Yeah.
I played Chris Hemsworth's brother, which
Let's take a peek
was
at
the
Red
first
Dawn.
mistake.
And so it's just
not good. We don't have to watch the scene.
No, we're not gonna watch the scene, or we might.
No.
Wait, so you
Well,
just feel like
that's
it's
the
bad?
original.
Oh, this is the original. Yeah.
The movie is fine. I'm just not good in it
Really?
because I'm terrified.
Did you get bad reviews or anything?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Can we take a peek?
No,
That would be.
I
It wouldn't
shouldn't
be
have brought it
fun.
up.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have brought it up.
So where?
It's not good.
dude.
Josh
You're
Peck.
the
Oh, you second by Chris Hemsworth.
It's bad. I wish my name was Josh Hutcherson. It's not good.
How many movies have you done?
Let's watch the trailer.
Yeah, let's watch the
on
trailer.
mute. But on mute, and you can see the tension in my face. You'll know
Let's
from
take a
watching
peek.
it on mute
Let's take a
that
peek.
I'm not
Yeah.
flourishing.
Let's take a peek.
Wait, on mute?
Watch it on mute.
When did this movie come out?
How bad I am will come through inaudibly.
We got to
it came
watch a
out-
New York Times ad first.
It came out 2012.
2012.
And again, it's a good movie. Everyone's great in it. I'm just not great.
You could be just self-judging. Let's see.
That's what people told
I'm
me.
an
That's what
acting
people
expert.
said until it came out.
Yeah.
and then close friends were like, "Hey, we all have."
Was this the one where your mom even said, "Josh, call me back"? I don't think you really lived up to your potential in that one.
It's not good. It's not.
Every day we go about our lives.
I don't think
This
it's
is
you,
me.
Jeff,
That's me
but
playing
you-
a football player,
shit.
though. So at least I have that. You know, that's a double because I did not look athletic.
They threaten our freedom.
Yeah,
Josh
going
getting a
for
little
the
pause. Chris Hemsworth looking hot.
Oh man, this was pre-Thor.
Yeah, he's beefcake.
I was like,
Yeah.
you think that movie's gonna do good for you?
Look at
Dude, this movie looks awful.
yeah.
I don't think you had anything to do with it.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah, it looks a little what they call overly dramatic. What's going on?
Look at my face.
Yeah, you look. Yeah, Josh.
Look at it, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. You could tell from there. Look at my hair. It's all bad. Look at that. Stupid beanie. Stupid.
So
This is
like-
where the Chinese take over California, right? That's the
It's
plot.
Washington.
Washington.
I love this trailer. It's a trailer where everyone looks concerned.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Look at that.
Yeah,
It's bad.
There's a concerning thing going on in every moment of this trailer, where people got to be quiet. They're screaming or they're concerned.
All right, I'm going to stop it because this is an audio. There's a podcast.
Well,
Did
this
you-
way we won't get
Well,
our,
we could throw it up.
our ads taken away.
We okay. Did you hear it while it was playing?
No.
What did they say? Because what was like this summer, Josh Peck and Chris Hemsworth are very concerned about the Chinese.
This summer, Josh Peck loses all his goodwill from the whackness.
There seems to be a bomb that hits a suburban house. Chris Hemsworth is sleeping with his shirt off.
This bomb isn't the only thing that's going to hit. It also is going to rupture Josh's career.
So did this hurt a little bit?
Yeah.
Did it do not good?
No.
It didn't do good.
No.
So it hurt. So how does that work? Because it does.
You'll never know as an actor, and that's the
Interesting.
fascinating part.
You just feel it.
You feel it. Like, you just feel like a guy who got broken up with, and that girl ran around and told everyone you're a bad lay.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it feels like the whole world is like, we can
And is
smell it on you.
The business is that what going cold means a little bit? Like it's coming off a bomb,
Yeah, and it's just, and then at that point, it's just time.
right? It's you need a little time to pass. And so, why do some guys seem to get so many, even after bombs? There's some guys that keep coming back. Is it like? Are they part of like the secret ritual? Do they?
The adrenochrome.
Yeah.
I feel like, but I think inevitably, like, people will always lead with your wins. Unless you accrue so many crazy things where they're like, you've totally overshadowed. Like, people talk about the whackness all these years later, or even Drake and Josh, because it meant a lot to people. Like, it takes me to bring up Red Dawn because I'm so insecure for people to be like, oh, yeah, I guess you haven't had it that good.
But you got a great attitude about it. You got it. Yeah. You
Took
got
a
it.
while.
Yeah. So it hurt for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and but it also is just like what I let it do to me, right? Because like, okay, listen, like I jumped in at 23 to an action role, the thing I always thought I wanted to do, And my buddy has this great thing. He's like a character actor like me, like not traditional leading man, but has had some good career stuff. He goes, look, I can punch a guy in the face on screen, but I got to go like this after. He's like, I got to humanize it somehow. I can't be like, fuck you.
Right.
And then just be like, and what?
Right,
You know?
right.
And
You have that quality too. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to shake.
You got a shake quality. Yeah.
I didn't know that there.
Right.
I was like, no, I'm punching.
Got it. So you were trying to be
Tough.
the Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves can pull it off.
That's exactly right.
Right.
Hemsworth can pull it off. And by the way, he's the best.
Yes.
And if you're that, you know, if you look like him and you're a great actor and you're a cool person, you can do it. I'm one of the three.
Did you and Hemsworth like hit the bars on days off? And
I was sober.
You were sober.
That probably was, I was newly sober too. So I was
Had
like,
you met your wife yet?
No.
So was this like getting puss era?
No.
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 Even when you looked like that? You still had the fat guy thing.
Yeah.
So you had the personality. You were like, you would go up to girls and do that a little bit? Would you hit your nose a little bit? You did a few of those.
I mean, there were a couple, you know, I might have
You were one of those guys who your personality is so good, you have fat guy personality.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you looked like this your whole life, you might be a dick.
Not might.
You probably
For
would
sure.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Chris Helmsworth a cool guy?
The best, which
Yeah.
again doesn't make sense because
Same
he's
with
always
John,
looked
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But I guess in Australia, because, you know, you're not that special if you're gorgeous and you know, built like a god. So
Should we build a wall in Hollywood against Australians? They keep coming and taking the jobs.
They're very
All
good.
they do is do roles with American accents. We can do that.
How good is Kate Blanchett?
She's probably one of the best.
The best.
She's probably one of the best. And one of the biggest robberies that ever happened in Oscar history is when she did not get the Oscar for Elizabeth, but Gwyneth Paltrow got it for fucking Shakespeare in Love, for doing a British accent. I mean, no disrespect, Gwen. No disrespect, Gwen. You know, you went to a private school in Manhattan just like I did. But Kate Blanchett played fucking Elizabeth that year. Right? Queen Elizabeth. And that movie was like, she played the evolution of Queen Elizabeth and like how she became queen. And it was like, you're watching like, you're going like, holy shit, this is acting. This is a saga. This is a role that, how many people could do that role? Gwyneth Paltrow could not do that role. I'm sorry. She could fuck the guy from Coldplay, but she can't do that role. Josh Peck didn't say it, I said it. I'm just saying she's good. I don't want to throw, you know, I'm just saying, but Kate Blanchett, I mean, it's like her and Meryl Streep and a couple others, you know, there's like, that's another level up. No, am I wrong? Is that known in Hollywood?
Kate Blanchett and Meryl Streep are on another level.
How do you not give the Oscar to Kate Blanchett in 1999 and you give it to Gwyneth Paltrow? And I know what you're thinking. How does Yannis know this?
Yes.
Why is he hung up on this? Why is this a sore spot? Because I saw, it was my girlfriend of 8 years, Melanie Hammer, Upper West Side. We went and saw Elizabeth.
Lincoln Center Theaters. Where are we seeing it?
I think we saw it at the whatever.
Next to the Barnes and Noble.
It might have been next to the Barnes and Nobles up there. It was up there next to the Barnes and Nobles. And I saw it, and I was young at the time it came out. And I was just like, I was beyond me. I was at that point where like, I probably enjoy it more now when I watched it because it's about like such a monumental historical figure. But because of that movie, I went and read about Elizabeth more. I just found she's one of the most like she's probably the most successful dictator of all time. Besides like Caesar and she was like kind of benign. I mean, she cut her cousin's head off, whatever the fuck she had to do. She had to stay in power. You know, it was a different
cousin like that.
But dude, she had the marketing down. Like she was a woman who controlled the fucking British Empire, you know, and had this whole marketing thing where she was like, you know, because she knew it was like Catholic. She was playing off the Catholic thing, so she never got married. She never was like, she was like, I'm married to the people. It was all bullshit. She, you know, she was getting her pussy stuffed. It was Hollywood fucking secret, like John Stamos doing blow. It was off the records on the QT, on the hush hush. But she, as far as anyone knew, she was just this chaste, and she played on that. Like she played on the Virgin Mary thing, and it worked. And she was like this. She was like very ruthless, like Amy Schumer. She knew how to fucking climb up there and stay up there. And there was people trying to kill her. There wasn't just overweight girls trying to take her roles. This is you could just go on a single on those shots. Cut him out of that. Isn't it great though when you can sit and not be a part of it, but kind of enjoy it a little bit? But I saw that movie and the performance. Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't think so.
Dude, they made another one, right? They did a sequel like 8 years later. And then Shakespeare in Love's like, hey, I'm going, wait, Shakespeare, I'm doing an English accent. I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. You're like, come on, dude.
And then what'd she get it for? Blue Jasmine.
She got it for Blue Jasmine. She's incredible, though. She's incredible.
Killed it.
This was a stacked year. Look at this year. Saving Private Ryan, Elizabeth, Life is Beautiful, and the
Wow. Who are the other nominees? I would have fucking given it to Josh Peck for Drake and Cut Josh at this point.
I agree.
For actor.
Oh, Peter Weir. Look at these directors.
Yeah.
Like Terrence Malick, Peter Weir.
So who won Best Picture that year?
Shakespeare in Love.
Shit, I mean, come on, with Saving Private Ryan?
Yeah.
That was the beginning of cancel culture. Jesus Christ, over Saving Private Ryan, fucking Shakespeare in Love. Does anyone talk about Shakespeare in Love now? This is a fucking tragedy. This is worse than the Will Smith smack. Was the 99 Oscars. Are you fucking kidding me? Does anyone talk about Does anyone even know the guy's name who played the guy?
Nope.
Nobody even knows that guy.
Yeah,
he didn't even have a big career. You didn't give it to Tommy fucking Hanks? All the fucking baby blood that kid had to fucking drink? I mean, how do you not give Saving Private Ryan Best Movie?
Who is it? Joey Fiennes? Excuse me.
Yeah.
From Shakespeare in Love? Joseph Fiennes?
Yep.
I thought it was Ralph. It could have been Ralph Macchio. Nobody knows.
I think it was.
Nobody knows that guy, and they gave it Best Picture.
It was Ian
I'm telling you,
Ziering.
I may be one of the only people that knows the type of hijack this year was at the Oscars. I'm telling you, Gwyneth Paltrow, I'm telling you, this might have been the first time that some real malfeasance happened in Hollywood.
You know what this was? This was probably a Weinstein push.
This is a Weinstein push in the shower. Look at the Life is Beautiful, dude. Have you seen Life is Beautiful?
Yeah, but I'm Jewish.
How
I
can
love
you?
it.
Yeah, I mean, I know,
It's
but how?
beautiful.
Dude,
It
every
is
Holocaust movie gets a fucking Oscar. They gave it to fucking Adrian Brody. You can't do an Oscar, and that was the best Holocaust movie ever. They just don't, because it was kind of a comedy. They don't have any respect for comedies. Fucking Christopher Nolan. If this kid does not play Robert Chambers, I am fucking storming the beaches of Malibu, and I'm gonna beat up Reese Witherspoon for no reason. I put you on. At least the thing you learned about this was this year Oscars. I learned a lot about you and how you don't have a dad. But
No, I got Robert Chambers.
Robert Chambers.
I got way too much about Shakespeare in Love. What else? You went to American University.
I went to American University.
You've got an inner arm tat. That's new news.
This is my inner arm tat. So this is what happens when you make bad decisions in life. So I was in Miami and I was like, thank God I only got this because I was trying to get the
Around the arm?
I was trying to get the around the arm, and the only other person who had that at the time was from Baywatch.
Hasselhoff.
The woman.
No, the woman.
It's even worse.
Pam Anderson.
It's a Pam Anderson barbed wire.
Ooh.
Oh, man. I wish you got it.
Yeah,
so
I was like a kid, and I was like, I only got $50, and he was like, I can give you one link of it. So it's one link. It's supposed to go farther, but it's
It
just.
looks like you're into fishing. Like it looks like a hook.
It looks like I had cancer surgery. It's like really bad.
That's
And
really
here's another
bad.
bad one. Look at that one.
Yeah, I saw that in L.A. You were wearing shorts. What is that?
That's another drunk one in Miami in spring break. It's just supposed to mean, it's ancient Chinese scripting that's supposed to mean respect, and it also looks like my initials YCP. But it could mean anything. It could mean I'm whatever. I'm an ass pirate. Who knows?
Fascinating.
Yeah, it could mean anything. Who knows?
But it feels like that color of tattooing, it was only created in the 90s. Like, those
the
are
faded
the time.
blue.
It's like, I have
What do you
some,
got? I want to know
and
what.
they don't look like that.
Let's see what you got. Let's see what you got.
But like, it's like,
Yours is a good,
Wait, let's hear all of
cool.
it, yeah.
oh my
Yeah,
bad.
Max.
Go show it to Yannis. Yeah, right there. That's good.
Is Max the dad?
Max, my dad.
Is it?
I haven't been able to let go. It's nice.
And the rose symbolizes how relationships die after a little while.
like my dad.
like our dad.
And then
These are fucking cool though. What's that?
mom.
Is mom still with us?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And
Wait,
then
a little higher up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
ma.
Dog, you got jail tats.
And then my wife, because I don't wear a ring.
Oh, you don't wear a ring? She's okay with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you tattoo, which is commitment.
Right.
What's it like? We'll end on this little chunk. First of all, get the book.
Thank
It's
you.
a good read. Jesse's going to read it for sure.
Shout out.
He listens to him on tape. I'm going to read it if I can get myself a free copy. No, I'm going to buy it. I am going to fucking buy it. Don't send it to me.
I'm sending
no,
it.
Do not send it to me.
Yes, I am.
No,
I'm
doing
sending
this.
it.
I know. No, I'm buying it.
No,
Okay,
I
we're
won't
arguing at
have
the
it.
table like I'm a relative. No, Josh, I'm going to support. Do you have relatives that, Josh, do you need money still? And you're like, I'm good. No,
Yeah.
Josh, it gets cold. I'll send you a sweater.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. The fact that I'm not a lawyer or a doctor or some sort of accountant
Right.
kills most of my family.
Right. They're like, he's doing those skits.
Like I have, yeah. Like, oh man, when I was on social for a while, they're like, "What are you doing? You're acting for your phone?" I'm like, "Well, you understand, it's different than that."
Yeah.
like not to us.
Not to them at all.
I mean, I have a cousin who still goes, he could still go to college. I'm like, at 35, I'm going to get a communications degree from UC San Diego.
Right,
Like, it's
right.
not going to happen.
Right, yeah.
Go to Parsons.
Yeah,
You know?
the Jews go they go lawyer, doctor. It's one of my jokes I have in there is like, I'm a doctor and a lawyer because I'm Jewish. It's just what we do. I did
Right.
both. I just success, just smarts. Acting you're kind of looked at as like, ugh, John, he's in Hollywood. They go, he's not a doctor. Oh, he's not a doctor. He's not a lawyer. Yeah, but no, he's doing the skits. He's doing
Right,
he's doing his skits. He's doing those skits.
He's like, he's like Mel Brooks, but less talented. Then they go to like sort of like famous.
They know
Jews.
a few. They know a
Yeah.
few. The Jewish community. You got Woody Allen's still an icon, right?
Woody
they don't. Do they
Allen.
buy? Does the Jewish community? Are they on board still?
I mean, I can't speak for all of us.
Right,
But I mean,
right.
But there's like Carl Reiner.
Can you make a statement for the Jewish people on Woody Allen? We, as the community,
90 minutes in.
yeah,
please,
Josh Peck as a representative.
Zoom in on my camera.
I love Woody Allen. It's tough. I'm a massive Woody Allen fan, so the whole thing's tough for me. Woody Allen's the one where I go, can we separate the art from the artist? I can't deal without the movies. I can't. He's the best. Is he? He will go down. Okay, just do a single because I know Josh can't be a part. He could go down as the greatest movie maker of all time. A movie a year.
100%.
I mean, aside from the other stuff,
His bangers.
the bangers. I mean, those are. The writing. It's just. It's the best. It's just the best. Woody Allen is in a category all to himself.
Is Woody Allen his name? Or did he zhuzh it for the biz?
Did he Josh?
Is he really like Ralph Lifshitz? Ralph Lauren?
Is he not John Stamatopoulos or Jennifer Anastonakis?
But Giannis is John, right?
I kept it real, and that's
He
why
could be Giannis Stamos.
his name is my name. He could be
Is it?
his real name is if you translate it to Greek, we have the same name.
How are you guys not making a movie together?
We should.
It's
We
got
should.
it. The
Let's
two Giannis.
three of us make a movie about finding your dad's family.
They're in Boca.
They're in Boca. That would be the movie. The whole movie is like, we got to find them. And you just keep telling me they're in Boca. And no, we got to find them. You're like, dude, they're in Boca.
Yeah,
And
no.
then we go on this adventure that's something else because if we want to find them, they're just in Boca.
Yeah, they're,
It's the easy part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in Heron Bay. It's always some. I feel like in Florida, everyone lives inside like a complex.
Yes.
Like, and it's just a small city state.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's it like being a dad? Now, you didn't have a dad growing up.
Can you believe this?
I
Oh,
knew
his
it.
real name. I didn't know that.
I knew
had
that.
no idea.
Had to be.
Holy shit. His real name is Alan Stewart Konigsberg.
Rolls off the
I
tongue.
know a Konigsberg.
You know, okay.
Who's probably related to him because, how big's the community?
Oh,
York,
big.
York prep kid.
not York Prep. It was a girl who I knew afterwards. I'm just,
What about? Let's go through it.
he's
Mel Brooks' real
5'5".
name.
Yeah, Mel Brooks. What's his real name?
That's fun.
I'm tired. Get me out of here.
Dude, he's 86.
He's 80. He'll live to
You
150.
can look up my real name.
Do you have a real name?
Yeah.
Your real name's not Josh Peck? Nah. Let's find it. Don't tell us. I want to find it.
Melvin Kaminsky. It's that beautiful. or
Melvin Kaminsky.
What a great name.
This is fun. So Mel Brooks' real name is Melvin Kaminsky.
Bob Dylan. You know his real name?
What is it?
Robert Zimmerman.
Robert Zimmerman?
Yeah.
Have you heard Robert Zimmerman's new song from Woodstock? Yeah, it's better. Bob Dylan's better.
A
Yeah.
little bit. Well, that's
Joshua Michael Peck. That's your name.
I know, but it's actually Peckerman.
Peckerman.
This is why you are the top 1% comedian in the game.
Joshua Pecker.
No low-hanging fruit for Yannis.
Dude, we got a lot in common, man. Let me tell you, my mom had me when she was 43. My real last name is Pappas.
Really?
My grandfather changed it, thank God, because in Greek, Pappas is slang for a little boy's penis.
I can see that.
Yeah, and so we have that in common because your last name is slang for a penis.
I thought when you were going to tell me, and in Greek, Pappas, I thought you were going to be like, is slang for an abacus. It's like, I could put that together.
Right. No, it's bad. It's for a little boy's penis. Pappas. Oh, you go like, oh, Pappas. It's like, that's what it means. And the worst part is thinking about how did we get that name?
Right.
Someone in my family had a small penis. I saw my dad's, and so I know it's what it is. Thank God I probably inherited mine from the other side, so I'm average. Because my dad had a small piece. Rest in peace. But my dad's dick was small. It was a very small. It was jarringly small.
Really?
Like when I saw it, like you just saw bush. It looked like a clit. It was small. Now maybe when it got erect, it was like he was I hope he was a grower. And
Right.
thank God I didn't have to see that, which means I wasn't abused. But my dad had a small piece, dog. So maybe that could be another positive of you never knowing your dad is that you didn't. He might have had a small piece.
Right.
How's Josh? How is Josh Peck's piece?
Average.
Average.
Yeah, very-
Good. Girth okay?
Yeah, totally.
No
like,
complaints.
Forgettable, but in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah.
it's
Meaning
just
it's
like, yeah.
Yeah, you're middle of the road. Yeah, you're okay. What's it like being a dad now that you are? Is it like, how funny is that? You go from the transition. What's your dick like? Now let's get earnest for a second. On the heels of me asking you what your dick looks like,
Solid.
what's it like being a dad? Because usually people repeat the behavior or they go the opposite way. Right. Whenever it's something extreme, the reaction is going to be extreme. Extremes breed extremes. So like, if a person doesn't have a dad, like not in their life, that person either does the same thing,
right,
equally as extreme, or they go the opposite and they're like, I am going to be like dad, like, you know, to my kids. You seem like you've done the latter.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like I
mean, you tattooed your wife's name. You can't get a fucking divorce now.
Yeah, it's extreme.
Yeah.
And I like that my wife and I, we own a house together. We have a kid. So her divorcing me is almost impossible because it's too much paperwork.
Right,
Like,
it's a hassle. Yeah.
She's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's sometimes where my wife will say to me, like, he doesn't need to go to the trampoline park every day. I said, yeah, he does.
Right.
Like, because I had an older, I don't know if you had this, I had an older parent and I was an only child. So like on a Saturday, if we went to Manhattan Mall and ate at the food court, my mom was like, hey, we're at Epcot. I said, this is a food court, Mom. Not at Disney World. She's like, well, it's kind of. And so
She was trying to make it special. She was trying to do what, you know, was done in Life is Beautiful,
Right.
except it wasn't the Holocaust. She was trying to make it fun for her kid.
yeah, she's like, look, Sam Goody. It's like Universal Studios.
This is fun, right?
I'm like, this is a CD store, you know?
Yeah.
And so if we did that for like 2 hours on a Saturday, we go home and now we were down for the night. Like, you know, so I always was like, I didn't have a sibling to mess. So it was always like playing video games, obsessing over TV. So now with my kid, it's like arcade, mini golf, trampoline park. Like there's nothing that he doesn't get to do. And we're doing it all the time. But of course now, like I have to be careful. He's not like expecting it at all times.
Right.
Right. But yeah, so to your point, I went totally the opposite way. I'm all in on being a dad.
That's great, man.
You too?
I'm all in. It's the best.
It's the only thing that's not overhyped in life.
You said that to me when I did your podcast, and I was like, nailed it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard a better encapsulation for that, for what it's like to have a kid. It's like, it's the only thing that like has no downside.
Yeah.
Because the downside is part of the reward. It's like all the hard work that goes into it. You see them learn and you see them grow, and so it's also worth it. And you realize it answers a lot of existential questions, especially someone like myself who was always like, you know, what's the meaning of life? Was always trying to feel like, sometimes I'm like, what? I don't get easily like into things because I'm like, what's the meaning of it? Why am I doing this? I overthink shit. So having a kid revealed to me, it's kind of a cynical answer, but I think it takes the pressure off at the same time. Is that this is the meaning of life is just this. No different than a string bean or a cockroach or any animal, no matter how gross or how glorious. It's like reproduction. You have a kid, you fulfilled something for nature where it's like you're leaving something. It's maybe I don't know. You can put a moral judgment on it, or it's like your ego. You want to keep your ego here. I don't know what it is or how you describe it or what the motivation is, but beyond it. I think it's instinctual. It's just, and so I feel more at peace about like dying, about living, about everything because I had a kid. A lot of the anxiety's gone. It's like because I had a kid. So I don't know what that means, but I do know if someone asks me what the point of life is, my answer is pretty cynical now. My answer is like, I think it's to have a kid.
Right.
And if it's not a kid, then to do something that you're kind of like proud of it, like you know,
helping
do something bigger than yourself or outside of yourself.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the underlying theme of it. Because like a kid, you're not thinking of yourself; you're thinking of the kid. So it's like you're not, because we're so. If you're only thinking about yourself, it gets so boring so quick. You're like, if you're all people who are wrapped up in yourself, I'm like, you're not that great. How can you be wrapped up in yourself? You're not seeing yourself the way the rest of the world sees you because you're not that fucking great. I've hung out with some of my heroes, and guess what? They're fucking tough hangs. Right. I've met some of the people who I've been like at their work, and I'm like, this is like, I've always idolized them, and you hang out with them, and you're like, oh, I don't want to hang out with them again because they're tough hang, because they're just people. They're just like people, and some of them are fucking... you know, they're just like intolerable. And you're just going like, I love their work, but like when you hang out with them as people, so there's nothing out there is what I'm saying. There's nothing out there. Just have a kid or make something outside of yourself.
Yeah.
That was a soliloquy. I was hoping you were going to cut me off at some point.
I can't.
Yeah.
It was
just
too good.
It was just, I just had a shovel and I'm going, here I am digging, and I'm just going to sit in this hole. I just sat in that hole. But that's what I learned. I learned like, it's just the greatest thing in the world. And you nailed it with that.
And I've had people who, you know, I'll make the joke of like, yeah, I like my son. I'm really into him. And they'll be like, well, yeah, it's your son, of course. I'll be like, no. You'll meet plenty of people that aren't into their kids.
Right.
I'm like, and I thank God that I like being around.
Right.
Because I know a lot of people that are still into brunch.
Right.
They got kids and they're like, yeah, but brunch.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like brunch is done.
Yes.
Like, you know, or you can do a brunch, but bring them. Like,
right.
Kid likes brunch.
Right. Kid wants to eat too. Yeah.
Yeah. They like waffle in an iPad. Yeah. Right. Well, you're slugging back mimosas. You know, Jennifer or whomever.
Probably Jennifer.
Right.
Or a Katie. It's a very good chance.
Yeah. Or a Mike.
Yeah. Or Mike. Yeah. There's maybe a baker there.
Sure.
Baker's a good brunch name. Did you feel the tug at all? Did you feel that tug to leave? Did you feel that kind of like
to like mimic my dad's stuff?
Did you feel it?
No, I felt that. I noticed that thankfully early on in relationships before I met my wife, which was that we would get into just like a natural, normal conflict that people get into in like early relationships. And if you actually sat in it and saw it through, you would actually wind up being closer. But I just saw it as like a harbinger of more bad to come, and I'd book it. Right. So like the girl would be left going like, we literally were trying to decide whether we should have tacos or Chinese food for dinner. And he left. And I was like, well, if we can't decide on this,
then it's not going to work.
Because if 50% of your parental system leaves when you're born, anyone can.
Right.
So my assumption was, right.
Did you learn that in therapy or on your own? Because that sounded like a therapy quote.
Both.
Yeah.
But I didn't know at the time. But what I was doing, my assumption was that anyone could leave at any time. So it would behoove me to fortify myself and be like, have a emotional bug out kit.
Right.
And be like, I can leave at any time. In fact, let me show you how okay I am without you.
Right.
And
it's a defense mechanism.
I was perpetuating the bad behavior of a guy I never met. Is that sick?
It's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you either continue or you learn it and go, you book it the other way. You booked it the other way.
And my wife, who comes from this like healthy big family, allowed me to learn that like, she would say, listen, we can be mad at each other. In fact, we can go to bed mad. But when we want to figure this out or when you're ready to talk, like I'll be here because family doesn't leave. Like, so whether we figure this out today. That one.
Josh Peck. Is that your acting or was that real? Because I felt, you hit me there. I felt the thing, you know? It's like I was watching a fucking Titanic there.
Turner and Hooch,
yeah,
baby.
I mean, that was the piece of wood half on, half off moment of this podcast.
On TV's Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I mean, that one hit me. That was, she said that to you? Did that hit you when she said that? She said it like that? I would have fucking dropped buckets. I wouldn't have been able to hold it. You can't leave a woman who says that.
Yeah, I mean, it instated this idea that, like, yeah, family doesn't leave. We're going to figure this out regardless. And once that was there, I was like, gotcha. And that was reminiscent of, like, I mean, I married a Catholic girl from Sacramento who in a weird way is reminiscent of my Jewish mother from Jersey. Because, like, I never felt that much unbridled loyalty except from my mother. Wow. So it, like, triggered something that was like, you're good.
Kids Jews or the Catholics?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Cat Jews. So they get bar mitzvah? Are they going to get a bar mitzvah?
We'll see.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I recommend if they're watching this in 10 years, tell your dad you want one because even like whatever, if he's going to do what you want, you get paid.
Can you imagine Stamos' gift? It's going to be nice.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. So do it. Do it, little Peck. What's his name?
Max.
Max, do it, Max. The great Josh Peck. This was amazing.
Yanni, you're the best.
You're the fucking best.
Thank you so much.
Jesse,
I feel honored.
Listen,
Jesse.
Fucking. I don't. Is it worth it to even go check out his Instagram? You got 13 million followers, I believe. Am I right? 13.1. He's got so many that the point whatever doesn't. He's got. If you ask me, I'm like 122.6. But you don't have to say 13 point whatever. He's got 13 fucking million followers. So I mean, yeah. I mean, it fucking his Instagram. Fucking this show needs to be in his fucking Instagram. So,
it will be.
But there are some people who didn't know about the book, who didn't know. You know, so fuck get the book.
I am honored to be here and listen to our pod when you were on Male Models.
Male Models,
you crushed it.
That podcast, it's fun. You and your buddy Joey.
Thank you.
That's the thing now, right? The pod and and Christopher. He's a pod and a Christopher Nolan movie.
In this movie.
Yeah, take a peek.
No, it's not a trailer, but he's going to be in a Chris Nolan movie.
What's the movie?
Oppenheimer.
Are you just you're an Oppenheimer?
Yeah,
that's legit, dude. What's your role?
I got a small part.
What is it? Are you policeman number one?
Bainbridge, yeah.
Does your role have a number 1 or 2 in it?
It's kind of.
If it doesn't have that, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it doesn't have that.
Okay,
it's not bad.
Blunt Boy.
Yeah, Blunt Boy 6.
The Adventures of Blunt Boy.
What's the character's name?
It's a real guy. His name is Kenneth Bainbridge.
Kenneth Bainbridge. How much stage screen
I can't
time?
say another thing.
You can't say a fucking thing.
No.
It's like the real Oppenheimer project. You can't say a thing.
Exactly.
I mean, they're building the atom bomb. The budget was $100 million. It ain't the Longdays podcast.
Not yet. Spotify,
Yes,
get in
Spotify.
here.
Holla. The vaccine's not real. What's up, guys? Freaking cold spring water. Stop drinking water out of plastic bottles. The plastic gets in your body. It's bad for you. You want to drink good freaking cold spring water? Drink freaking cold water. Go to freaking cold. What is it? Freakingcold.com?
Frickin' cold spring water.
Freakingcoldspringwater.com.
No G.
Freaking cold, no G. Freaking cold springwater.com. Get yourself a case, 2 cases, 3 cases. Order them right to your house. This is what we drink now. This is what you should be drinking. Go order them right now. And then for your soda lovers, if you want a little probiotics, a little healthy gut and a soda, and you want to keep your feet, and you don't want all this added corn syrup and fructose and stevias or whatever other fake stuff they put in the diet sodas. Finally, one of these hipster eggheads put together a delicious soda. BrooklynCannery.com. The flavors are delicious. I was blown away by it. I pursued them because I had one by accident one time at a store, and I was blown away, and I just went and looked them up, and I got it. I'm in early with them, so I'm going to help them grow, and they're getting a steal of a deal here just because I'm enthusiastic about them. 15% off your order if you put the promo code Yannis Pappas, all one words. Go order a bunch of sodas. They come directly to your house. BrooklynCannery.com. Are you a type of kid who wants to get eye surgery? Do you want to stop wearing glasses and being called 4 eyes? Well, go see Nicola Ragusa. You want 10% off? Mention Longdays or Yannis. He knows. He's a listener. He was a fan, and then he got in. He's a doctor who's a fan, and he's trying to get some clients on a damn good fucking advertising deal. This is what I do. Does anyone support small business the way Yanni does? You can call him at 646-534-9474, or you can go to OCNYI.com. Not I as in the letter. You read it right here. Jesse puts it right up there. Go get your LASIK surgery in New York. Guy's located in Astoria. So if you're Greek, go get it done. Longshore Coffee. It's the only coffee I drink now. Well done, dog. See, you got to think outside the box. I drink it now. This is the coffee I drink and I want to continue to drink. So it's really good. Longshorecoffee.com for 15% off at checkout. You use the promo code FUMES and just go. It's a small, you get these small batch. It's a small batch roastery in Providence, Rhode Island. All different roasts. Whatever whatever floats your boat, they got. If you like a rich coffee, try the Boss Babe. But go check out their website, longshorecoffee.com. And the official coffee sponsor of Longdays with Yannis Pappas, Nate Linder. We should call him. NateLinder.com, social media manager. Boom. You want to take your social media game to the next level? Go to NateLinder.com. End of story. If you're a fan of the show, you know Nate Linder. We're going to call him on air. Hopefully he's not boring. If he is, we'll just hang up on him. Who do we got next? Jesse Slow on the keyboards.
I was laughing at your jokes.
Oh, Chrissy Minetti. Chris Minetti. Chris Minetti's out there where you can get a glass of water. In Philly, want a water and go to Wawa's. And then you can go to Chris Minetti's and cash your check at Minetti Financial Services. Minetti Financial Services is just a fancy way to say check store. Cash your check. Call him. If you want to get your check, I think he wants people to call him because I think maybe he just does it over the phone. He might just do it over the phone, and he may just take your word for it. If you just call, has anyone just called Chris for fun? Someone call Chris for fun and then message me how it goes. 215-750-3730. We might call him one day just on the podcast.
We should do a conference, him and
Nate Linder. And we'll do a conference. So go to, if you're in the South Jersey, Philly area, go get your check cashed. If you can't get to a bank, if you don't have a bank account, Minetti's perfect. forthefree.us. If you're into bands, if you like music, if you want to know about tours, anything in Hawaii, go to forthefree.us, peruse it, and check out their bands. What else we got here?
we got
the new boy or girl, 305 PLP Media Services. What are they? You can email them at info@305plp.com. What do they do? Well, they do videography, they do production, they do post-production, and content creation. They do everything. They do what everybody needs right now. So if your business, your wedding, everyone needs a video. They're in the right business. Go check them out. Go check their website out, PLP Media Services. If you like what you see, go hire them. If you're in Miami and you want to shoot your own homemade porn with some girls who you told you were going to make famous, you start your own porn business, your amateur porn business. If you're making homemade porn, hit up PLP Media Services, 305 PLP Media Services.
Read the number.
The number is 786-584-CASH with the S is a money sign. That's 786-548-2274, and go talk to whatever Cuban owns that. My man Jared, the guy who sneaked in there with probably a multi-million-dollar company. I'm telling you, exclusiveautoshipping.com is a known thing. Anyway, go to exclusiveautoshipping.com if you need to move your car anywhere. You get a free quote. You got it. Welcome our newest Patreon members. We're recording this only a couple days later, so we only have a few. Patreon.com/Yanni Longdays. Our first one is Matt Davidson, Elizabeth, Erwin, Nima. What's that last name?
Salsa
Nima Salsa Bilian, which means she's Armenian. So welcome my Armenian sister or brother. Gene, the G.I. Joe in Chrissy's poop shoot, pressed up against Yanni's skin flute, Bell. I love people still doing the hyenas stuff.
About a year late.
Yeah, about a year late. And the next one is Jadiva 38?
88.
Jadiva 88. Welcome. Patreon.com/Yanni Longdays. And it's been a
long